Nights I used to 10 bar.
Would you entertain a proposition to direct this picture? Take a gambler's chance on a percentage of the profits basis?
Yes, just a moment. Was I in here last night and did I spend a $20 bill?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, what a load that is off my mind. I thought I'd lost it.
All right, good morning, everybody. Slow to start, slow to rise, slow to make money. I don't know how the expression goes. Ham will come on. I'm just going to talk slow a bit. I don't have a prepared thing, just to make sure some people join before Ham does come on. Because we all know once he comes on, it's going to be fast moving for 1 hour. We had snow here, still snowing, and not as hard, but everything's closed. It's very cold. Oh, my hands are cold. I guess I look a little bit unprofessional, but that's all right. What did I want to tell you? Prices, stock prices. All this. Oops. Try to have this all set up for when he calls. Today, very interestingly, something showed some signs of strength, and then not so much. The Dow, of course, is up 300 points, which is not huge. NASDAQ is up 325, which is a little bit more important considering that's less than 1% and then 1.5%. The S&P is up 68 at 6,000. I don't know who's been telling you these things are going to go higher. Anyway, rail, which is I couldn't get an update today. I tried to call one of the guys I talked to, but he's been pretty busy. He hasn't responded, just trying to get color on it. But nothing's changed there. Just obviously it's taking a little longer. I think once it breaks out around 40 cents, if it does, I'll stand by my first target be $1.20. Look, if it gets anywhere up, it's up to you to decide to take some money off the table. But I think rail over, let's say 6-9 months a year, can become a, I don't know, $15 stock. That's pretty, that would be amazing if that happened, but that's what I think can happen, 10 to 15. And then maybe things in the AI space are on a fast track. Maybe it could happen more quickly. GBUX was up today and I'll let Ham talk about it, but just to tell you, the stock got as high as 233. I'll let him talk about it. It's not there now. It's flat on the day. MLSS is 101. NIXX is down 30 cents, 581. I would guess these three stocks, Rail, NIXX, and then NextTrip, which I've mentioned to you, and maybe Finger, and maybe some of these other sundry dogs and cats. Maybe today's just a slow day as everyone gets back to work from the holiday. But I think over the next week or so, you're going to see buying. So anyway, Fingers up 4 cents at $1.25. You know, I was looking at the Sprott Silver Physical Silver Trust. I told you guys bought that at like $7.60, $7.80. Today it went over $10. And I know, oh, that's boring. That's not exciting. Well, that used to be a huge move. If you could find a stock that went up 25-30% in 6 months, you were a hero. And if you were chasing as somebody managing people's money, if you were chasing stocks that would go up 100 or 200% as soon as you called them out, that wasn't really what the firm was looking for, or Wall Street at that time. Anyway, this guy that comes on here tells you got to run over to this other stock. Well, it's down. I'm not going to even give the name. Next trip, NTRP is up 14 cents at $7.55. I can't believe it. When I first told you guys about it, I didn't emphasize it. I'm kicking myself. I think it was $4.90. ZJYL is 99 cents. And who have I left out? Anyway, so let's get off of stock prices. After all, I just got off of yours. Hey, Pilot, how are you? Eyes on the road. I like the snow. I haven't been outside because, frankly, I don't have the footwear for it anymore. I threw my boots away like just 4 weeks ago because, they were old. Little did I believe. Are you troubled? Are you in trouble, boy? All right, let me just help my dog up. I'll be right back. I have a decision to make about him. I don't know what to do because sometimes he always falls down now on his rear. He looks up at you like a puppy, like what happened? But sometimes he can't get up. Other times he seems to get up and he walks like an old football veteran. Hey, the one, I forgot what I was saying. By the way, I think silver, hi-ho silver. Chance of significant movement on MMTLP. I shouldn't have an opinion on that because if you're asking, you might know something I don't. But I did want to get on Junk Savvy's call this morning, and I didn't. I had phone calls. Her knowledge and her hard work with her audience, her community, resiliency, South Seas. That's the best place, I think, to find information. But I will give you an opinion anyway in general. If nothing new has happened, I don't expect a significant movement on MMTLP. I think the most important thing you can do, and I think you already have, is move your MMTLP to the transfer agent. Get it out of your brokerage account, get it to the transfer agent or in your hands as NIXX Hydrocarbons. If a couple of things happen soon, and if I have to put my dog down, I hope I don't. I hope I don't. I hope I don't. I hope I don't. I might travel. I might travel to Texas on another matter, and I would try to look up NIXX if I could, and maybe look up some other people while I'm down there. Sorry for his noise. That's one thing he does. He coughs. But he's walking. He's walking. All right, let's see what else. So anyway, on MMTLP, I think the system has bought time. I don't see Congress doing anything. Ann Wagner won't do anything. Those people, I was looking at the letters over the weekend, all those signatures, it'd be interesting to see how many are still in office. But I don't see any momentum to get anything done. I think we're lucky by one seat or so. The House is still Republican. But how long does it take to count seats in California, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Arizona? You guys don't think that it took 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to count House district seats because they weren't cheating? I know I haven't given a good answer to you. I just don't see anything happening. I hope I'm wrong. I would be surprised if the finger audit is not complete. But I don't know that. I don't think that the Roth capital financing could have been achieved or closed unless the audit was pretty far along and basically they had found nothing wrong with it. But remember, Matt, 2 weeks of vacation time. Auditors are like the World Bank. SLOW. And it doesn't take criminals to make auditors slow. It doesn't take criminals. But if you want to see a conspiracy theory in it, you're welcome to it. I don't. Now, where you might be right is the auditors behind the scenes might have been tempted or cajoled or manipulated to quit, the original auditors, because they quit on Finger, which made a 2-year re-audit necessary. That may have happened in the shadows, and you might be right on that. But I don't think the new auditor is manipulating here. I just think they're working very slowly. But having said that, I don't think there's any surprises in that audit, good or bad, probably. If they were good, the price would have been better on the financing. If they were bad, the financing wouldn't have happened. So I think it's a big non-event. I don't think you should be waiting for the audit to change your life. I think January 15th is the most likely day that the Finger Motion earnings for their third quarter will be reported. That's the quarter ended November. So that's the first time we'll get an in-depth, I don't know about how in-depth, but we'll get an inkling anyway of how their revenues are going. I don't expect third quarter earnings to be gangbuster. I don't even expect them to be positive. I think it'll be another +1, -1, +2, -2, -3 cents a share, something flat basically. But it might start indicating what we can expect in terms of that big, what I consider to be a significant contract on the vehicles. I think the fourth quarter numbers have a chance to be positive. Revenue, cash flow, earnings, those will come out 45 days after the end of February. That could be exciting for Finger. Vacation, New Year's holidays are already going on in China. New Year's Day in China is January 29th this year. So I really don't see a whole lot going on for Finger. Okay, there's two things that have nothing to do with China. A Roth Capital report, research report, and Roth Capital, in my opinion, has not opinion. If they want to be viewed as a legitimate investment banking firm, they have a responsibility to stabilize the price of this offering at $1.50. At least that's how it used to be done. So I think those two things could be coming. I suppose you could hear an announcement on some sort of clarity on the revenue projections somewhere, but I'm not optimistic. I think the next event is January 15th, big flat. The event after that, April 15th, that could be great. In the meantime, you could see a research report, institutional buying from Roth Capital gets the stock up, and the absence of tax loss selling gets it up. I don't think the audit is going to do anything one way or the other. Buongiorno, Giuseppe. I look like a yes, Susan, he's right here, and I bought a heater for him. I use it too for my right here sometimes, but it calms him down. I don't know what the magic is, but in the nighttime for the last many weeks, he's been pacing, and I've got him on glaucomone and some other shot and pot and some other thing. But the thing that I notice calms him down is some heat that he can fall asleep in front of. Hey, John Doe, good morning. You're going to dump MLSS at the break even. Well, I don't know if you're a real person or you're trying to get other people to act along with you, but that's what. All right, let's see if I can get Ham on. I doubt my phone will work. Let me see. I may have to. Let me see if. Yeah, I have to get the speaker on. So just give me 30 seconds, Ham, and I'll call you right back. Sorry about that. All right, Ham's going to be here. But anyway, what technical charts try to show, I mean, in my basic understanding of it, is points where people get tired, like toe cramp, if he's a real person, and they just sell. They get back to break even and they sell. I think toe cramp's probably a short. I don't know if he's got a position short in MLSS, but he wants, a not for nothing. Hey, I'm going to have to dump at the break even to try to get you to sell so that he can make, look, he wants to make 500, 5,000, 1,000 on his day trades. That's what he wants to do. Unless he's a real person, but I don't believe it. I mean, he's a real person, but what I mean is, unless he's, a human being.
Battery
I'm
100%.
talking about he
Connected
is a
to
human being,
Phil's
but
iPhone.
is he a human being? I'm talking about if he's got morals. I don't think he has morals. Does he follow the 10 Commandments? That kind of human being.
Yep.
All right, you're live. Sorry, it takes a little while to make that thing connect. So everybody's here, and they're
I
ready.
put up I was calling in live from Hunter Mountain. I used to ski up there all the time. This would be the perfect day to be skiing, fresh snow, but I wish I was there. I can't do it anymore. But anyway, I can dream about it, right?
You can dream
Right.
about it, Hunter Mountain. You can dream about playing pickleball.
Well, I did that already.
You
I
can
have no
dream
indoor-
about having a full head of hair.
Hey, easy. I don't need the hair anymore. I'm aerodynamic. Rain doesn't make a difference.
You can dream about a condo down on the
I want Fisher
Wall
Island.
Street.
I want that fat bastard's condo on Fisher Island. That's Hal Mintz. But let me just start off by finger motion. My friend said that the people are back at Roth. My friend works for Roth Capital. Again, he's not in the banking side. He just knows that they're all back from their winter vacation. So he expects that, I guess they'll start working on their research report and they're getting the company together and making a statement. He believes that's, imminent. So it comes out when it comes out. Let the company do what they have to do. Thursday we're off, so I don't know when they do it, but I assume this week. So we've been waiting for it. We know they have over $5 million more in cash now, which is a great thing. Their business is booming, and what else can you say? Who's shorting it? It doesn't even make any sense anymore. Again, they paid $1.50. William, Wall Street, when you do a secondary or any offering, the price of the offering is the floor. And I don't know if people understand what that means. If someone pays $1.50,
I used to do a lot of this business, and we used to call it a secondary. And some secondaries were in high demand. There were people offshore. They took advantage of the safe harbor regulation G or H or D or something, where they could sell stock before the offering without owning it, and then buy it back. There was a little bit of that, but there wasn't all this criminal stuff. But the one thing that used to happen is the investment bank, Merrill Lynch, Alex Brown, whatever, they would do the secondary, and then they would have to support the price at some point. But if the stock broke the bid, the offer price, and it traded down, they might let it trade down for a few days, even a couple of weeks. But eventually, they got the price back to the offering price.
How are they going to brag to everybody, to the next company they raised money for? Say, hey, after you raise the money, your stock is going to go down. So they're going to turn it. That is correct. They're going to turn it because they want it to look like it's, they did the right thing versus never having another client. Like Lynn Partners, anyone who signs up for them is basically brain dead, I posted, William, just to show you, last week they had 33 million shares that was washed, crossed, whatever they did at 25 cents on this KNW. It's back to 16. So for people that all love that big volume, it's just make believe. You could see 4 people probably bought on that, that big, look at the volume, it's going to go next, and went straight back down. I mean, these guys are committing fraud all the time. And, like I said, don't believe that nonsense with this volume stuff. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But 9 out of 10 times you're going to lose. So I don't even look at those things. I stay away from those things.
The other thing a bank will do, and maybe Roth did it here, is they might sell shares by their prospectus. They might sell shares into the deal that technically they're short. It's called a green shoe. And then they'll let the stock down if it's not working. They'll let the stock, because they don't want to buy from these criminals. They'll let it drift down, then they start buying. And they're making a little profit on that. But it brings the stock back up. It's a built-in mechanism to support a deal that breaks the offering price. Lots of times they don't break it, but My point is there's a built-in commitment by investment banks to get these secondaries back to the offering price or better.
Oh, it's pretty easy, but when anybody come to you do business, if you raise money and your stocks get killed.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody, I think these guys will
Call from Andy.
make a difference. It'll
Why are
turn
you
back up.
calling me?
Just remember, some guy paid $1.50 for it, and who's selling it at $1.25? This is all make-believe stuff that's been going on, and they're crossing and washing and just recycling the same stock back and forth. There's no reason for the stock to be back here. Listen, let the CEO come out and make a statement. Tell us about the dividend, where we stand. Tell us about what you're going to use the money for. How fast does it get it to profitability? Then I got it. If you're unhappy with the CEO, what he says, and you dump it if you want to move on. But you got to wait till he sees what he says. There's no reason to sell it here. The $1.50 is the floor. So I don't see the panic yet. So again, you want to panic? I would wait till then. I wouldn't do it now. Any other questions about that?
Not really. I mean, I overspoke you, so I'm sorry about that.
No, don't worry about that. Again, I reported on GTII. I think that the stock will be trading in early March. It'll be cleaned up. All the audit will be done. And
well, talk about the audit. Have you heard anything? There's a couple of people wondering if the audit's been manipulated by the shorts, if it's
the audit's been manipulated by the shorts.
By the crooks.
The auditors are sitting there. They open the door and the short sellers are waiting outside now. The audit is 1 year is going to be done, I was told, in February. The other one will be completed one will be done in January. The other one's the end of February, which means it'll be compliant in March. That's it. Once they get compliant, that's when you can trade the stock. That's when you can buy it
for
or
their
sell it.
full year report, their annual report.
Whatever it is that the guy's getting in order. So let him get it in order, and when it comes out, it comes out.
Yeah.
So that's with that. So just pay attention. I'm sure Richard Hoffman will have some updates on it. Pay attention to that. And
sorry, I was asking about Finger, but you're talking about GTI.
Oh, so yeah, I was going through GTI. And Finger, I do not know, have no idea. I just know what the CEO said, that the audit he thought would be complete in the middle of December. I have to assume that it's either done or it'll be done any day. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. But it has to get done, so it'll be done. And anything else on that before we move on? So if Finger Motion, we're looking for an update on what they're going to do with the money, how fast we get into profitability, the special dividend, right?
Yeah.
An update on data, maybe update on their business data or the emergency response thing. I did tell everybody the other day that AT&T has an emergency response program in the U.S. They invested $8 billion in it. Finger Motion got in for free. AT&T spent $8 billion on their emergency response program in the U.S. Finger Motion is just riding the coattails of the Chinese government and profiting and getting data for free, basically. So I don't know about you, but you know what? When this thing turns and it gets going, and the business starts to become more mature, I think we're in the biggest market in the world, and I think it's going to be a good play. That's my opinion. That's what I see. It's all right there. I'm watching it. I had no idea what that. Again, I forgot the thing. Was it something one? I forget what the name of it was called. The AT&T platform. But next one.
No, what it's called? What's in that movie? It's called Skynet. It's something net. AT&T is next. Something net.
Anyway, it is. I'll post it again later. But again, they spent $8 billion getting involved in that. In China knighted Finger Motion to put the emergency response technology in all their emergency vehicles. That's pretty good for a U.S. company to be putting stuff in the Chinese emergency response, and they're allowed to monitor the data that comes off of that stuff. pretty well connected company, right? I think that you need to look at it that way, because I don't think many companies can get access to doing what they're doing unless they didn't have good connections in China. So we're waiting on all that information. There's plenty of stuff to come out, and we're just waiting on it right now. DJT, buy the dip, sell the rip. I have 3 people that did it. They're doing it on their own now. They don't even contact me. They buy the dip, sell the rip. They're making $1 3-4 times a week doing the same thing. One friend, out of Miami, he's been buying 250 shares and flipping it every day. And you say, well, 250 shares, where are you going with that? I don't know, 250 a day times 5 days a week. If he catches it 4 days a week, he's at $1,000 for 250 shares.
If he
That's
does it all
4,000.
month, that's
$4,000 a month on 250 shares.
pretty
So
good.
buy the dip, sell the rip. Doesn't happen all the time. All right, it just doesn't happen all the time. Stocks need to turn into the buy the dip, sell the rip. And William, I just wanted to change it for a second. The buy the dip, sell the rip is now turning into this GBUX. Just so you understand.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about GBUX.
It spiked, and a friend of mine sold some stock at $2.30, I think, and he's
Wow.
buying it back. So he sold into the rip, and he's buying it back, I think at 170 or something like that. And he puts 50 cents in his pocket, and he buys back 2,000 shares that he sold on the rip, and he buys it back. And that's how you really make money, because you keep taking money off the table. So let's say he had 10,000 invested. He just sold 2,000 shares. If he doesn't get back in, he made 230 minus, let's say, 75 cents. He's made a nice payday. If not, he's buying it back, and he puts 50, 60 cents in his pocket, or $1,200 in it. So he laid out 10,000, and he's down to only invested like 8,900 now. And that's how you stay in the games, and you can keep trading these names. So GBUX is now turned into the buy the dip, sell the rip. And based on what I see now, the short seller trying to hold it down, closing the spread, has decided to put up a little fight here. If you were watching it before, William, it was 230 bid, offered at 290. So when you sit there and you say, William, how do you know it's the short, right? Well, a short seller or a long seller, when it trades up to 230, is not racing in to sell it at 175. If you wanted to sell at 175, you sell it on the way up, right? You don't sit there trying to chase it down. It was 230, offered at 220. No, make it 210. I cancel that, make it $2. Move it down to 175. Investors don't do that. This is a short seller just trying to offer or spoof his way, pushing it down lower. So buying the dip here, I think, is a great idea. This is my opinion again. It's a great trading pattern because this is a short seller. We heard last week the short was short 300,000.
Wow.
Well, based on what I see today, you could throw another 20 to 30,000 on the pile. So this guy's now up to probably, let's say 3.25. I'll just make it conservative. Let's make it 325. Last week they had Schwab calling clients up trying to buy their shares. Now what are they doing? They're trying to defend it and hold it down. Remember, this stock just made a new high, right? William, right?
Yeah.
That means every share they've sold is on the water.
So that has 95 million shares outstanding. Does it have a small float?
I don't know. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
There's nothing going on here.
Yeah.
It just got hot. We've been hearing that this year it's going to be a big name due to a pending deal with a major company. I don't know. Wait to see it happen. I told you we heard the rumor coming out of Goldman, so there's good people around it somewhere. It's not me. And so let's see what happens here. But when a guy gets short 325,000 shares of a stock that trades 10,000 shares a day, if you just do the math, it's going to take him 30 days to cover, right? At 10,000 a day.
Yeah.
That's without no one else buying a share.
Yeah.
Now, if you throw someone in trying to buy a share, 30 days could be 60 days. 30 days could be impossible when you're trying to cover when the stock, when, obviously, the people from Goldman are telling their friends to buy it, and, those guys, they're probably deeper pockets than we are, and, they'll just keep scooping them up, and then it'll take off, and the guy will run over. I don't know how high it goes, but you know what? It looks to me, William, like, I can see this thing running to $5 fast.
Really?
I'm just basing it on what I know about shorts and trading. I don't know anything else. Look at all these crazy stocks. Some guy texted me, and I forget the symbol, NX, whatever the hell it was called. Yeah, I put it up before. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, some guy texted me a stock. He said it reminds him of this stock, N something.
TRP?
No, it was N something.
NIXX?
Give me a second, William. Take it easy.
NIXON?
NUKK. I said,
Dude.
someone told me to look at NUKK. I said, December 13th, it was $1.40, low volume. December 18th, it went to $78 on 200 million shares.
What?
I said, yeah, NUKK. December 13th was $1.40, right? And low volume, like 30,000 shares. December 18th, it went to 78 on 200 million shares.
Wow.
This is how they start.
Wow.
We all think the same way, but, this is, you got to, in this environment, these short sellers, I think these guys, all these characters, I think the end is coming for all of them. It feels like that to me. It just feels like the end is near. So I think, like Finger Motion, I'm confident in. DJT, I'm confident in. I think that Donald Trump, I told you the other day, William, that Donald Trump I heard he's going to be aggressive. Maybe wipe out the SEC, go after FINRA, the DTC. And we're hearing it from pretty reliable people that he's going to be aggressive, and the shit's going to hit the fan.
I don't know if they're having the vote today because of the snow, but they got to vote. They got to, rubber stamp the vote, I think, today.
For what?
In the House for the president, for the presidency.
Get out of here. Just march the military and throw them all in jail. Get out of here. Enough of these people. Get out of here. Wasting my time. I'm not a political person. They could all. I don't give a shit who they are. I throw them all out. We voted a president in. End the conversation. He's in. Put his people in place and let him go to hell. All these people that have committed crimes deserve to be in jail. End the conversation. I don't want to talk about it anymore. All I care about is get rid of the criminals. Have these people stop raping young kids. It's a disgrace. In the UK, they let these people do this stuff. It's a disgrace. But, I don't want that here. I have daughters. Everyone else has daughters. Everyone has a mother. It's a disgrace. And if you stand for those people, you're a disgrace. I don't give a shit who you are. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm tired of reading about it. There needs to be action. Throw out that bum in Canada, throw out those people in the UK, and take back these countries. Enough of this stuff. Anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. I don't want to go in that direction. Screw them all. We need Trump to come in here. Listen, the security fraud from these guys all becoming billionaires is ridiculous. That's what these people have done. They've done it for 37 years, William.
Longer.
37 years. I've been doing it for.
You've been married.
I'm doing it for 25 years, fighting this crime and reporting it. I watched, in the beginning, I didn't even know who Ken Griffin was. I was dealing with low-level criminals like Hal Mintz type guys and Lynn Partners. But as we got up the ladder, I learned about the loophole. And, in 2007, the loophole, I put it up Dave Patch's letter that he has the man from the NASDAQ, Tom Gira, talking about it, how everybody was signing up to become a market maker. They were becoming a market maker for the loophole, nothing else. They weren't making orderly markets. And then the payment for order flow came in. and everybody's shorting all the order flow. I mean, they're just controlling it. Then they have these accounts offshore. I mean, come on, the whole thing is insane. And, you know, South Korea, William, is putting a system in place to detect naked short selling, right? And I'm a believer that what system? Give me two guys with a gun, and as soon as someone has a failed to deliver, the brokerage firm has to alert us. We go to your firm, what's the stock? What's the account? Boom. Send two guys to their office, buy them in, and then arrest them. End the conversation. That's it. Once you arrest one, they'll all stop. I don't care where it's originating from. If someone takes the order, let's say it's E-Trade, they take the order and the guy's naked shorting it. E-Trade, if they can't get to the money, the guy who does it, E-Trade gets locked up. Whoever took the order, E-Trade, the manager, the CEO, and they go to jail. This way, everybody knows their customer. Correct, William?
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the rules on Wall Street. Know your customer, where you get your order from, right? Well,
The first
like that,
rule.
like what's his name? The guy from Share and Tell, the fat guy who worked at Morgan Stanley. I naked shorted every day. Well, who'd you do it for? And what stocks did you naked short? He's never answered a question. I posted it 70,000 times. The federal agents should knock on his door. Who did you do it for? And what stocks did you do? He'll give up the 10 clients, and then you go get those clients. That's it. That's how you start it. Boom. There's one spot. Link Partners is easy. We know they're stealing and the money's going overseas to the guy in Australia. We all know that. The guy in Australia brags about it. What else, William? We talked about Finger. I think DJT is going to take off. Again, if you want, you buy the dip, sell the rip, and you can buy
One guy
yourself
here is going to sell his MLSS at break even. What
Oh,
do you
yeah,
think
where
of
is it?
MLSS?
I saw it at $1. Oh, look at that. Hey, William, if I hit the bid, I'm even.
Well, there's a guy here that's going to do it. What do you think?
I think that if you think you have something better to play in, then I would sell it. If you have something better to play in. I don't. I missed my opportunity. You know, I owned it at $1.01. I was down a lot. It's come back. And I would have bought GBUX when I heard it, but I didn't have the capital to go all in there. So I kind of missed that opportunity. So at this point, it's basically telling me I'll just sit here and wait for it. It looks like it's going now. It's 230,000 shares traded. But if you're nervous about it, if you have something else to go play in, you know what? Be safe, sell half, and hold on to half. This way, if it does take off, you could say, you know what? I had 3,000 shares. I sold 1,500. I'll hold on to 1,500. I reduce my risk. I got money off the table. And if you have something else to play, you got money to go jump in whenever the hell you want to do. That's the way I would do it. Does that make sense?
Would you do business with Robinhood?
Listen, the only reason I wouldn't do business with Robinhood is because they sold everyone. They sold everyone out. That young kid ratted on everybody. He protected himself since he gave up everyone on all the retail investors and shutting down the buy button. He's become a billionaire, and all the people in GameStop lost all their money. You tell me, why would I do business with that guy?
I agree.
Listen, these firms are all the same thing. It's all the same nonsense.
I think Webull and Robinhood are just pressure valves for failed to delivers.
I think those firms were set up by the big crooks as a way to con people, to make it sound like they're there for the people. He's not there for the people. He turned you all in. He helped slaughter everybody. And the young kid went in front of Congress and he lied and did this, and he just protected his own ass. And he couldn't care less. And I'm like looking at people like, why would you keep an account there? I mean, he has no business. If you take away your accounts and move your account, Robinhood goes to zero. It doesn't have any business.
Well, Kamala Harris is in front of Congress right now with Speaker Johnson. They're about to approve it. Stephen Rosenberg says the Bernie Madoff exemption. I forget what he's talking. That's his comment. So I forget what you were talking
He's
about.
saying that Bernie Madoff created the loophole for naked short selling. That's what he's saying.
But you know, everybody got their money back from Madoff's Chicago.
Yeah, the government paid. Listen, I don't know how, if he had all that, why was he even doing it? I told you before.
Maybe he was a pressure valve for the system too.
Once you have all that money, you can't spend it. I keep trying to tell you, how old was Bernie Madoff? 75? Where's he going with the billions of dollars? What was he doing?
I saw the other night, I saw a W.C. Fields quote, and he said, a rich man is just a poor man with money.
Again, if you can't entertain yourself, the money means nothing. Where you go, I mean, we all want it. We all fight for it. We work for it. We want to make things better. I want to get a new curtain on my window. Who gives a shit? These people are sick. They just keep stealing. They couldn't give a rat's ass. They kill companies. It's a disgrace. And they deserve to get wiped out. It's just awful. People keep telling me, oh, look at Northwest Bio. I says, it's 28 cents. Oh, but the data's great. The data's great. Who's selling all the stock at 28 cents? How could it never move up? But all the data's great.
Kyle R. says, this is ridiculous and unacceptable that you and him can't tell us more about why the audit is taking so long. It feels to me
I agree.
like you're downplaying this concern, to be honest.
I am downplaying it because I'm not an auditor. What would you like me to do? I can't order my own checkbook. What are you, out of your mind? I can't. What are you, nuts? The CEO told you in a video, not us. You know what? I'll play.
All I can tell you is if there's something wrong, Roth Capital would not have done the deal.
Well, that's true. That's number one, right? They did their due diligence. That's number one. That's a good point. The company needs to have audited financials. They can't operate as a public company without audited financials. At least I think. I don't think you can. Can you, William? I don't think so, right?
You've got to have audited financials, but
so downplaying this, or us downplaying it. Someone just gave the company $5 million. You think they would understand more about what's going on than we would?
Exactly.
Would you give someone $5 million? Oh, what did they have? Oh, they don't have any audited financials. It's a scam.
I don't know what experience you've had, Kyle R. But other companies that we've talked about have gone through audits, and it's re-audits, and it's taken a long time. So my feeling is this is actually fairly normal and not a cause for concern, to be honest. Anyway, let's move on from that one.
Yeah, no, listen, audits are part of the game. We don't control it. I'm not an accountant. How can I downplay? I don't know anything about it. What do you want me to say? The CEO said in the video that the audit he expects to be done in the middle of December. That's what he said. Not me. He said it. I'm just going on what he said.
This is a point I hear all the time. Anytime you tell a rightfully frustrated investor just to sell, you are actually encouraging selling behavior more than any short ever could.
I just told him to sell MLSS if he was nervous about it. What do you want me to say?
That's the different one, and that stock's up. He's waiting. The guy that's doing that is waiting for break even, which I guess is here.
It has to be. He couldn't have paid higher than me. I paid the highest. I paid 101.
I like your advice. When I trained at Merrill Lynch, Bald Clayton taught us that. He was a senior broker. And that's what he said. He said the only time to sell a stock is when the story changes, or if you have a better investment.
If you got a better idea, I don't have any ideas. So I'm just sitting here. I paid 101. The stock finally went through $1. Hopefully it holds. It had good news, and I'm going to stay with it. Maybe tomorrow someone whispers in my ear, you got to go buy XYZ. I'm going to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm out. I'll go do that. I don't know. I get nervous like you do if I sell.
What
it
did
and
you
it goes up.
pay? This guy, Toe Cramp, paid $1 for MLSS.
I paid 101. I told you I paid the highest. Listen,
So why do we listen to you? You pay the highest and you don't take your profits? And I'm just kidding. It just shows nobody can do it exactly right.
I don't tell people to listen. You make your own determination. So I'm just giving you my opinion as a trader. If you're nervous about MLSS or you have something else that hasn't performed great, we're in the same stupid spot. If you want to breaking even is a good thing on Wall Street. It's not a bad thing. It happens a lot. And you can move on from that point. Breaking even is a good thing.
Okay.
If you want to break even and lose a penny or make a penny, it happens all the time. If you have a better idea, you move along. If you think that this stock is going to go, you sell 80% of it. Hold on to 20%.
So let's hear your answer to this. You, that's me, and Ham, that's you, do not have the privilege or the luxury to bring up any other stock until Finger and GTII, which many are stuck in, have reversed their losses.
Okay, I brought you to GTII. I can tell you right now that you, your friends, and everybody on this phone call do not have more shares than me and my friends have. I think we have about 40 or 50 million shares. You do better than that? You don't think we pay attention to it? The people I know have been supporting and paying for the receiver to do the audit and everything. They're doing everything in their power to make it trade again and to make everybody their money back. And for that person who just said that, you have some pair of balls to sit here and cast stones or throw stones where the U.S. government is basically fucking you and you're sitting here trying to take it out on me. Anytime you want to take your ass and meet me at the SEC, I'll drag you in by your hair and you can go tell them to their face. Go tell them, tell us where the audit, show us the proof. I showed you the fucking proof. I told you this was the biggest crime in U.S. history, and you're sitting here at me? Go ask the people in GameStop, AMC, any of these stocks. The U.S. government, look at MMTLP. They shut it down. I told you that before. So to sit there and say that we are causing harm is ridiculous. And if you paid attention to when we first started playing these names, they went from nothing, GTI went to 9, and Finger Motion went from below $1 to 10. Then it went back up to 7. GTI hasn't recovered, but now we're going to get it back in play again, and we'll see what happens. But that's a disgrace. You're a coward for saying that.
I don't know if this is. I don't know if this guy is serious. He's got an 81-year-old grandfather. He's got 450K in his IRA, and he went all in on GBUX. Thank you guys for making us rich. That can't be serious. Don't put everything in one stock, not when you're 81. Unless maybe you have more money.
Absolutely never do that.
Somebody here, your friend, here. My eyesight has gotten worse, but next week I have an operation. I hope it works. It's really gotten bad. Anyway, Steven Rosenberg says, remember, if my longtime friend since the 1980s, Ham, and I robbed Fort Knox, and Ham got 900 trillion, and I got 5 million, who was the leader? I don't quite get the context of that, but
I think what he's saying is that these naked short sellers, whether they do it small, like Hal Mintz or like Ken Griffin, they all belong in jail. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah. They're all committing fraud. Listen, the loophole, everybody knows it's here. But this is a little long in the tooth, meaning that the end is coming, and these guys are still out here playing games. The longer they play these games, for example, if I was Lynn Partners, I throw in the towel, fold up, and get the hell away from it and move on already. They're going to get busted. It's just a matter of whether it's now or later. It's going to happen. GTI, when it starts trading again, there's 500 million shares short. And for the bozo that has got a beef with me, I put up the press release from the SEC, the DTC, about how Alpine has the short position at Alpine, this naked short position. That's proof from them, not from me, from them.
Oh, he said Bernie Madoff was not the leader of his Ponzi scheme. The U.S. government is desperately trying to keep it quiet.
Well, he would know better. All I know is that this is a massive problem. The U.S. government has allowed these people to just rob and loot everyone over the years. And I've been fighting, trying to stop it. And I picked a stock that was fighting the shorts, and it had its chances. Okay, not everybody got out. I understand it. But we didn't give up on it. I just don't control it. But there is a court-appointed receiver that's taking care of it, and big shareholders are making sure that it happens. I think that's pretty valiant that we're even fighting back for it. As far as the audit goes in finger motion, I have no idea what they're doing with that. I go by what the CEO said, and I said it 50 times. It's in the video. I call my friends up at Roth Capital trying to get any tidbit I can to give it to us. He's not the banker. He's not whatever the guy's name is, Byron Roth.
Do you know Angelica's? I guess in New York City, a restaurant?
No.
Angelica's?
No.
Or is it maybe it's in Miami? Anyway,
No.
You have a follower, Michael Granite. If he makes money, he's going to buy you a fantastic dinner in Angelica's.
I'll be there. I'll be there with bells on. I'd definitely love to eat. I'm there. Thank you very much. I would love to meet you. People, this is a major crime. I put it up 1,000 times over the years. Look at all the people that are running around screaming. Do you think it's just one stock? All these stocks are being manipulated. Hal Mintz robbed so much money, he's living on Fisher Island. Think about that. You guys think, I say it because you guys don't realize Fisher Island, what it is. It's a private island off of South Beach in Miami that you need to take a ferry boat over. You're not even allowed on it. The cost of owning one of these things is enormous. This guy, Hal Mintz, is a naked short seller, busted by the government for naked short selling. And yet he bought a condo for $10 million on Fisher Island. That means this guy stole $50 million because he has to support that lifestyle. And no one says anything about it. How he got the money. And yes, I'm jealous. I wish I could live there. So
Sue DeWerf Panzarino is asking you if you ever heard of Nick Morgan Icahn, an attorney. He's an SEC attorney. He is stating that FINRA needs to be abolished. Nick Morgan Icahn.
Thank God, finally someone's stepping up and saying something. You know, where are these SEC attorneys? We always hear, oh, some of the people at the FBI are such good people, and these people are good people, these guys, but no one ever says anything.
She's saying that Ari Rubenstein is saying the OTC is sketchy. I think he's sketchy. That's the guy, I think, at one of those firms.
He's at GTS Security.
Yeah.
The over-the-counter is sketchy. It starts with him.
It starts with him.
People buy and sell stocks. Listen.
He can't have it both ways, pal.
Listen, you could buy a stock and it can go straight up and everyone's happy. Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful. As soon as the stock gets ugly, the company's a fraud. Everybody, all the woodwork, everybody comes out of woodwork. And meanwhile, all the negative stuff has always been someone selling counterfeit shares and the pressure from all these shares. Think about it. That's why the government on $100 bills or $20 bills, you go to the supermarket, they have to mark them down. They hold them up to a light. They're looking for whatever. Counterfeit money will wipe out the country. get counterfeit shares. It's no big deal. There's more money stolen here than ever doing counterfeit money. Forget counterfeit money. William always said it best. What was his name? The drug dealer, Escobar?
Oh
What was
yeah,
his name?
Pablo Escobar. Yeah.
Yeah, why would he sit there and sell drugs? He'd go to jail for life. He could have been a naked short seller. He'd be living in Miami next to what's his name, Ken Griffin.
He could be marrying that chick that Jeff Bezos grabbed from the heap. Sanchez.
I'm just saying that. Think about what these guys have done. They've turned naked short selling into such a glamorous thing. You're a hedge fund.
Oh, Angelica's is at Seabright, New Jersey.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think much of New Jersey either. Oh, sorry, you live there. I like New Jersey. I spent time at Avalon one summer. My family would go there. I worked there. All right, let's address this. Finger Motion CEO better start showing over 6 months worth of not delivering on his word, or millions is going to get dumped on his watch and the stock will go down 50 cents.
Okay.
Ham doesn't need 2 good knees to be the SEC chair, says Steven Rosenberg. 1 is enough.
I just got I had knee surgery on one. I just got a cortisone shot on the other because you favor the other one when I was playing.
Do you need a replacement on your other one?
No. Just that coming out of the knee surgery, you sort of put more pressure on the right leg. So to put it at ease and make it more secure. So that's what he did. So I feel fine now.
I see. Sonowit says nobody's selling finger but the counterfeiters.
Congratulations. That is brilliant. That's exactly what's going on. And again, anyone who's got a gripe and they're upset that the stock is down, which we all are, by the way, we all are, the SEC is the place you need to pick your ass up, take a day off from work, go travel to DC, and I've done it many times, and go knock on their door and register a complaint and say, I'd like to know what the fails to deliver are in FNGR. And are you investigating Lynn Partners for selling counterfeit shares? That's it. Go get an answer for us. Get back to us. MMTLP, GameStop, everyone's trying to get information. It's so funny that no one will release any. That's the funny part, right?
Yeah.
So we're all looking for information. If this is the greatest market in the world, how come it's not transparent at all, right?
So can you explain to Ricky how GTII trades? Because he called Fidelity and they don't let him do any trades.
I have no idea. I wouldn't advise it. I don't know. I think it's make-believe. I can't believe that someone's selling it at 3 cents. Hold on a second.
Do I have a choice?
No, my daughter was pulling up, and I want to make sure the snow and whatever. Anyway, it's remarkable what goes on. It's remarkable that everyone's angry. I've been doing this 25 years. Okay, doing this. I've screamed, protested, put trucks in front of the SEC, walked the halls of Congress with William, right? William, we did that, right?
We did it.
Dragging my bad leg through Congress, all the places, right?
You know whose office was never open? And there was like all these notes on her door and
AOC.
Flowers. AOC was never there. Every time I went, she wasn't there. Of course, right. I didn't go. I want a handful.
They're phonies. They're phonies. Listen, the people all I care about, I don't give a shit about those people. All I care about is stock settlement. I can support and take care of my whole life by trading the equity markets if it's fair. I bought MLSS, it went straight down like it was thrown off a boat with an anchor on it, right? On good news. The company had great news. It went straight down. What kind of good news should stocks should go up? They don't need to go up $1 million, but they need to go up, go sideways.
Congress is speeding through the certification of President-elect Trump's victory. And they are quickly going through the states. There have been no objections.
Right.
So that's good news.
There you go. So who are the maniacs that are short DJT? I would love to parade those guys out when the time comes, right?
Yeah.
So what else, William? Listen, people, if you're angry, I got it. Please go to the SEC. I'm giving you the best advice in the world. It'll make you feel better. We used to call up every day at 12 o'clock. I helped everybody call up at 12 o'clock, 300 calls a day. Everyone registered complaints. You know what we got out of it? Nothing. So that's when we decided to put the truck out there, because they cannot deny that the truck was there, because we actually took photos of it. Williams did some videos with it right at their door. So if they said, did you ever register a complaint? I think the truck kind of tells you we did, right? We'll never get the information on how many times the investors called up about GTI or finger motion, right? They won't tell us that. But the truck, we know, was there 15 times. We've tried everything. If you guys got something better to tell me what it is. I don't know what to say. The GameStop, we've become billionaires if we could figure out the silver bullet here. All right? I believe the silver bullet's a dividend. But again, I don't control companies. The companies have to implement it and do what they have to do. A friend of mine told me we should give out fake Gucci pocketbooks. She told me that last night. Make a company go out and buy pocketbooks, give everyone a fake pocketbook with their name on it. Because the short seller won't be able to deliver it because they don't know your address. All you have to do is show us your statement. You know what an undertaking that is, though? It's a pain in the ass. Wall Street makes it very hard to get around their system. And if you think about it, what does Wall Street have to do with your public company? Hey, what do you do? I'm working on a cure for cancer. Oh, we control you. Who are you? I'm Goldman Sachs. Okay, what do you got to do with us? Nothing. You don't even know what we do. No. We control your stock, though. That's what goes on.
So in your opinion, is the SEC or the CEO more responsible for Finger's low price?
Oh, it's got to be the CEO. He's an idiot. He's not telling us anything. He told us he's trying to get an audit done. So it's got to be the CEO. Oh, but that doesn't mean the price goes down. That doesn't mean the price goes down because the CEO said that, right? The CEO is doing what he has to do, and he doesn't control the price of the stock. The only person that controls the price of the stock is the stock settlement system. That would be your DTC, your back office people, all those people. They control the stock. No, nobody else does it. And they'll never tell you. We try to get the information all the time. GameStop is people are posting, they're trying to get the Freedom of Information Act to get on fails to deliver. The SEC said they need more time. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And this is the most sophisticated equity market in the world, most transparent. Yeah, it's transparent for them, not us.
That's a good point. It's transparent for Goldman Sachs, but not for us.
Right. We have no idea what's going on here.
That's a good point. When Gensler says it's the most transparent in the world, it is from his perspective.
Right. They can't settle anything, nothing. Everything's it's like chaos. We should actually have all the people that want to bitch and moan. We do get a stream and put it all together. Maybe I can get someone to put it all together. We'll get a video, post it up on Twitter, post about what you want. We'll put a video together. We'll send it to the SEC. Tell us what stock you would think you were robbed in. We'll give the symbol, and you can demand that you want to see the fails to deliver in that stock. Who's selling the shares? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
So Mike is pointing out that the January 2026 $3 calls have a premium of 23 cents. It'll be very interesting to see how the warrants trade and what the premium is.
Well, I'm glad you're studying in that. Again, those to me, if we feel or you feel that this stock has got the goods, eventually it's going to go. DJT, when we were talking about it, and I talked about it many times on Williams' call when it was below 20, going down to 18, 17, 16, all the way down. I told everyone, just go buy the 30 calls, whatever, buy cheap calls and forget about it. It went to 57. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Do you remember that?
Finger went to 57?
Yes, Finger went to 57. DJT.
No, DJT, sorry.
So I'm just saying, I said to buy cheap calls and it went. Finger Motion, $3 calls at 23 cents. If you bought the stock at $2.20, at $1.20, let's say, I'm just picking a price for it in that area, and it goes to $1.50, you can make 30 cents and turn around. You can buy the $3 calls for 30 cents, and you have your money off the table, and you got the calls for free. That's a great way to play for free, right?
Yeah.
I'm not telling people to sell it. I'm trying to teach you how to be smart. And how do you take your money off the table yet profit? So for the asshole said that I tell people to sell, I don't tell you to sell. You make your own determinations.
Who hires the auditor? Well,
the janitor of the company hires the auditor. The CEO hires the auditor. I don't know who hires the auditor. I'm sure that. Yeah.
Does Ham think Elon Musk is going to bust Bill Gates?
I don't know.
As Musk said, if Tesla goes up $200, Gates will go bust shorting Tesla.
Just remember the guy from.
Money will make him bust. That's what. If that's true, he kept that position.
Well, just go back and look at Volkswagen. The one guy he had $10 billion. The industrial guy, the chemical guy.
Yeah.
And he was short Volkswagen, and he lost it all and jumped in front of a train. What was he trying to get? He's already worth $10 billion. He rolled the dice, lost everything, and had to kill himself. That just shows you how sick these people are.
How long has the auditor been on the job?
I don't know. The CEO said when the audit's complete, the dividend will come out.
Well, it's not up to the CEO, it's up to the SEC. When the audit's complete, he'll deliver the information to the SEC. It should be rubber stamped because they've already answered all the other questions. But he did admit on the interview, you never know what the SEC might come up with. So it should be right away, though. You're right.
I think the SEC is changing the guards, so I'm not concerned about that anymore. A special dividend like this warrant is very common. This is something that's not. If they were going to give out a crypto coin, then I expect some pushback, but I don't think you're going to get anything here.
I didn't know. Did Clinton work with Bernie Madoff? Anyway, Steven Rosenberg hadn't heard of Gensler until. Bernie Madoff told him. Bernie told him about Gensler. Wow. Yeah, Gensler certainly is in bed with the Clintons. That can't argue that.
Listen, I find it hard to believe that, what's his name, Gensler, had anything to do with naked short selling. It's been going around since 1987, early, or whatever, 86, whatever the hell it was, or 88. Even before that, he had nothing to do with it. He's just pushing it along, turning his blind eye to it, because the brokerage community has him in his pocket, like all the other SEC commissioners. Chairman Cox spoke about it. They put a rule in place, and for everybody knows, they had a rule they put in place called Reg Show, and that was supposed to clean up naked short selling. And what happens when you have fails for a certain amount of days, they turn around, they must be bought in, there's no more shorting in the name. All they do is move it around. They wash the trades. They move the problem down the road. That's how they got around that one. Now they're saying that anyone who's short 10% must file that they're short. Do you know what they're going to do? They're going to put it in, instead of having 2 funds that they control short, they're going to open up some more LLCs, and they'll have 100 new accounts. You'll never know that they're short.
Harris
So when they say they're
formally
gonna-
certifies Trump victory. Vice President Harris formally certified Trump's election victory.
Wow.
312 electoral votes for Trump, 226 votes for herself, and a standing ovation broke out.
That's what the U.S. government wasted their day on today.
I don't know how they got in because it's snowing, but
They wasted their day verifying a vote. They all got in there and did nothing today. They need to get out of that place and start working on doing things, making the country better for everybody. That's what they need to do. And start with the stock market. Because everybody on this call is here for a reason. We're all a bunch of greedy pigs, and we want to make money. And you want to make your life better. That's why we're all here. And the U.S. government is saying, fuck you, we're going to take advantage of you idiots, and we're going to slant the rules against you and steal your money every day. That's not a system I designed. I'm trying to help fix it. But I think that we're at the right time now. The right people are here. And I think that we're going to get over the hump.
Trudeau resigned.
Thank God, another idiot. I played pickleball with a girl who lived in Toronto. Everyone hates the guy.
Castro must be rolling over in his grave.
Well, everything turns real fast here now. And hopefully everything starts rolling, and we'll get rid of all the bad people and make it a safe place, and everybody can prosper and make money and just go on with their life. All right, William, you get too political for me. I don't give a shit.
I know.
That's it? No one else? That's it? We can go on?
This guy says no one cares. I guess about politics.
No one cares about politics. I'm sick of it. I don't want to read about it anymore. Listen, Pat Byrne is a great guy, and he's just so entrenched in this political blah, that the government was being overthrown, which we all see, we all know. And he's a great man for doing what he did. Pat Byrne went and took his life in fighting to make sure everybody, that the country, he did everything. You guys don't realize what this guy's done. But enough is enough.
So are you one of the shorts?
Yes. What do you mean? Am I short? Yeah, I'm short.
Well,
no,
I'm
only 5'9".
This gentleman is saying that on X, they're telling people that you're in cahoots with the short sellers.
Yes, I am. I'm in cahoots with the short sellers.
And he's not a basher.
I'm with the Roaring Kitty. Me and the Roaring Kitty work for the shorts. Listen, if I work for the shorts, why are you listening? I turn it off. We're bad people. Go away. You called in. I've been to shorts. I've been doing this 25 years. 25 years. Go read my post on GameStop in February 2000, or 220, what was it, 2000 or 220, whatever the hell it was, 2020. I was reporting on GameStop short squeeze before anybody else. Yeah, I work with the shorts.
So do you have any comments on some of these other stocks like ZJYL?
Yes, I do. I do have comments on. I comment on every day. ZJYL, GDC. GDC, I bought it. It went straight down. I averaged down. It spiked to 12. I told everyone to sell into the run. My friend said they started buying it back when it broke 5. Now, I don't know if their average is 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. I have no idea, but they're still there. ZJYL, they did a 20-for-1 forward split. I'm very intrigued by that because I think the shorts are now short
200.
20 times more. Excuse me?
200 for one, I thought.
No, 20 to 1.
20 to 1, okay.
And I'm very intrigued with that. My friend still owns $5 billion worth of stock. I can't call him up every day and say, hey, I know you're down. Can you give me more information? Give me more information. I don't do that. I'm nice enough to know that they're still around, and I sit there and I wait. That's all I can tell you. It squirted up to a 250 the other day. They broke it back down. Where is it today? I don't even know where it is.
Let me look.
A friend of mine bought it at $1.03 the other day.
$1.02?
No,
That's
no,
MLSS, sorry. You're talking
Oh, I'm
about
up.
ZJYL's 93 cents.
Nope, he's down. He paid $1.03. He saw the volume. He thought it was time to turn. And I said to him, I don't know when it's going to go, but I am intrigued by it. Any other stocks you want me to comment on?
John Wayne has a famous quote, life is tough, but it's tougher when you're stupid.
I like that one.
Wow, Storm Blair is heading your way.
Oh.
Storm Blair, 60 million are under dangerous weather alert.
Okay. Stay in your home. Don't go outside.
Oh, God. There's another. Let's not look at that. We need Trump to launch.
I told you I spoke to someone that was the former CEO of DJT. My friends, good friends with them, has been speaking with them, and they believe that Trump is he's going to create a firestorm here shortly for the short sellers. They're going to go after he said they're going after the SEC, FINRA, the DTC. Let's wait to see what he does.
What's your price target on GBUX?
I have no idea. I was told that 2025 is going to be a big move, and it's just been slowly creeping up. Today it jumped up, pulled back. And as far as I'm concerned, again, just change the symbol. It doesn't make a difference. When a stock pops like that, okay, and it was 230 bid before and was offered at 290, that shows you that the short is basically, backing away. And then they made a determination saying, screw this, let's offer some stock low. Again, let's see if we can get people to come out of it or sell. And to me, this is the perfect pattern. It's just like DJT and GameStop, where you can buy the dip and sell the rip, because that pattern has been established where it spiked and it pulls back on there's no selling, and then it'll continue back up. It'll go up and down, up and down. The short has to create volatility. So when the short moves away, the stock is going to spike. When they come back, you can see they jumped right back on it, trying to offer it at 175, I think it is. It was at 230. They dropped to 175. No one sells the stock down 50 cents. This is a short seller trying to hold it down. You can see it. If you wanted to sell this stock and you owned it, Would you sit here at 175 or just hit the 173 bid, right? You just sell it and move on. If you want out, you don't move it down from 230 down to 175 because it's you're just trying to make a sale. You sell it when you want to get out. That is a short seller trying to hold it down, but they're really not selling anything. You can see it's not even really trading anymore. They're trying to stop the upside momentum. And to me, that is a buy the dip, sell the rip pattern. It is the same pattern as DJT. Every time they smashed it down to 33, we all say the same thing. Who would be smashing it down? They're going to be crazy. Well, it shows they're crazy because the stock keeps bouncing back up to 37. So they're trying to get you to sell. That's why those attacks come. They do the same thing in GameStop. They push it down to 31. All of a sudden, boom, it's back up to 32, 33. So you buy the dip, sell the rip. You don't get that pattern in all those stocks. Finger motion does not have that pattern yet. I think when it turns and it screams and it goes to 2.25 and it pulls back to 175, then you have that pattern: up, spike, pull back, spike, back. But there's always the risk that one day it's not going to stop and just going to go. That's the fear part. Anything else, William?
Morty points out that China, according to artificial intelligence, I don't know which one he used, but I assume Google or ChatGPT. AI says China has 100,000 emergency vehicles. Think about the size of that contract.
Well, I don't know the exact amount. If that's the amount, I think there's 100,000 emergency vehicles just in the New York area. I don't know how big. I have no idea.
Matt has 4 guys and himself who were dumping 100,000 shares of Finger because nothing can get done.
Okay, good. So listen, that's good.
It's a good time for those who might panic to that. It's not a bad time for him to dump because I think Roth Capital and their institutional buyers with a report will absorb.
William.
If it's true.
If he dumped it, listen. Once you dump it, you get angry, you sell it. I got it. I do the same thing. You get angry, and now you move on. And
take it off your screen. Take it off.
There's no reason to come here anymore. I got it. There's no reason to come here. That's it. I got it.
Take it off your screen.
We don't need to hear it. We got it. You sold. Move on. 100,000 shares. It traded 4 million that day. I'm going to go back and rechange my numbers. It was 4 million for sale. I didn't calculate your 100,000 for sale, so I'll lower the naked short number that day because you sold 100. Hey, listen, MLSS went from $1.01 to 65 cents. I didn't panic out. I'm here. It's back to even. You know what? I may get out. I may let it go.
What I'm noticing is there's pretty heavy negativity on the board, so maybe something's going on.
Yeah, listen. It's obvious.
The shorts right now. I don't know.
Listen, it's obvious. The people that are saying this stuff are negative people, are tied to the short sellers. They need people to sell. There's no reason to sit here and tell us you sold your stock. I never asked you to sell your stock. I'm not taking count who's here. I don't ask. You make your own determinations. If you want to sell and take your loss, that's it. You move on. You get a tax loss, you move on. If you're angry, call the SEC up. I'll put the whistleblower number up there. Call them up and ask if it fails to deliver. Follow the sell tickets. Follow the sell tickets to the money. Okay, it's pretty easy. That's all you have to say to them. Say if they don't understand it, say, hey, someone sells it. Did they get the money? Yeah, it goes to that account. Why don't you follow it? There you go. We don't even have to tell you to follow it. Jeff Easton's buddy tells you it goes to Australia. It's right there in the newspaper. He told you himself. Hey, I bought GDC? Was it GDC? I can't remember. GDC. I paid almost $3.70 for it. It went down to 60 cents. You didn't hear me crying. I averaged down. And when it turned and it ran, I told you to sell. I sold mine. You do what you had to. Went to 12. But I didn't hear me crying. You didn't tell me to buy it. I bought it. I hit the button myself.
Hey, you have a winner now. MLSS is 102.
It's the new year. I'm going to lock in those gains. And you could sit there and you just think about what I'm saying to you. I paid 101, went straight down. How is the stock not going up? Why isn't it gone yet? I'm sitting there thinking just like you are. Man, what's going on? This company must be lying. The CEO he must not have an epidural. What does he put the medicine on a dart and throw it at people's backs? What's going on here? How come it doesn't go up? What's going on? I say the same things you are. CEO must be a fraud. How could he not do anything? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Who's selling all the shares down here? I know people that have been buying the shit out of it, but it never really goes anywhere. You can't say it's tax law selling. The year's over. Yeah, I listened to that line. Oh, it's tax law selling. Okay, it's over with now. Now what's now? What's next? Pick the stock. It's in all the stocks. Stocks do not act like this. When companies have news, fundamental news that is strong, stocks do not act like that and go straight down. That's manipulation. And all I keep trying to teach you is you can see there's different forms of manipulation. Each stock has a different little twist of manipulation. That's it. If you can spot it, then don't listen to me, because if you can spot it, go do it yourself. You don't need me to tell you. You can do it yourself. But you guys all worked on the street for 40 years. You guys know it all. The guys that are complaining, they know it all, so don't worry about them. And you know what, William? Again, I would sit there and tell people go screw themselves, but I know that those people are frauds and there's good people here, so that's why I keep coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's endless. The negativity's endless. I just think I think that anybody, I'll talk about myself. I won't assume anything. 2 or 3 years ago, you get caught up thinking, all right, this thing is going to go to the moon. Well, with 2 years of delay and learning, you have to learn experience. You start tempering your expectations.
Well, listen, I've seen stocks that go, I've heard stocks. Someone talked about the stock HOLO the other day, and it exploded from $1 to 10 or something like that. I don't know. Why did it go in one day? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It exploded the other day, but it's also been reversed. The 52-week high in HOLO is 1900. The stock is $3, so they reversed it, killed it all already. Isn't it funny how these stocks reverse and all of a sudden they get these big squeezes of them all of a sudden?
From the lows. My favorite is the guy, Jeremy Frommer, determined in all of his wisdom that Jeff Easton and his clients were not, he didn't see a pattern that troubled him of short selling.
Right.
So what he did, he took more money from Jeff Easton, and then he did a reverse split, which is massive. 1 for 500 shares, and you can look at that stuff now. Really makes you wonder if CEOs have a brain.
They don't. Anyway, I'll leave you with that, William. Everyone, I'm sorry if you are not happy. We're all not happy. I'm wasting our time doing this every day for a reason. And hopefully that things will turn around when Trump comes in and someone actually takes some control of the SEC and forces the issue. And when the CEO gets on, William, if you ever get to you, say, ask the CEO, how long does an audit take? Where did you get these auditors? Are they still in college? Ask him questions like that. Who hires the auditor? Does he know what he's doing? I guess. I don't know. I have no idea.
We don't know that it's not done.
Listen, don't get aggravated. Go take care of your dog. Do what you have to do.
Wow.
Everyone, I apologize, but there's really nothing going on I can speak about. DJT is up. These other things are moving a little bit. And if you got something that's interesting, tell us. I don't know them all. MLSS 101 bid for 900 shares, and what the hell's offered? 1,200 at the 103. Can't even go up a nickel. I can't even make a nickel. It's all right. No big deal. Anyway, listen, my grandson's here. I'm going to go enjoy him. And thank you very much.
All
And for
right.
those who are angry and mad, I'll post the 800 number for the SEC. Follow those sell tickets to the money. That's what I suggest. All right, William, I'm done. Have a great day.
All right, bye.
Call ended.
Well, Mike, one of the things I learned more recently from him, it's listening while he's talking to you. The penny finally dropped, as they say in the UK. I mean, it's not the first time I heard it, but it clicked. And I've heard other people say it, like Rick Rule says it all the time. He owns mining shares, and he can be a little bit ponderous in his discussions of how great his decision making is. But one thing he says is when he owns a stock, like one of the silver stocks that I want to contact and see what's going on and tell you about, I'll do that. I'm going to try to do that today. Just so many things, distractions in my life right now. But he bought that stock. He made a big investment in it. He bought it early. He likes to buy stocks or industries or assets when they're hated. It's kind of an analogy to the blood in the streets, that you buy real estate when there's blood in the streets. So anyway, the stock went up, and he sold a portion of what he owned, and now he owns the rest for free. And what Rick Rule calls that, I call it, that stock is past my point of concern. So in other words, he has no concern anymore because he took his money off the table. And it connected with me with Ham saying it a few weeks ago. You could build a portfolio of stocks that you don't have any money in it. But if you're like me, there's another side to that, and the guy I'm trying to remember, is it Bill? It's not Bill James. The guy who founded Investor Business Daily years ago was a new newspaper, and I don't know if I subscribed to something or just studied it, but he might have had a book, and if I'm misquoting him, I apologize. But his point was, you've got to focus on one or two or three stocks, and you got to put your money there. If you know it, if you diversify, you're not going to make real wealth. And there's some truth to that. Even Rick Rule says, if I'm making it up, but if you know a lot, bet a bunch. I made that up. I forget how he says it, but if you have information, you understand it, bet a lot. So, invest a lot. But I think somebody up there, look, I'm not going to go back over my ownership or non-ownership of anything, but somebody's up there again. But, I've lost a lot of money with you guys. I'm not saying because of you. I'm not saying because of him. I'm just, it's not an easy business. These are speculative stocks in many ways. You're fighting a completely corrupt Congress, completely corrupt regulatory system. You're fighting investment banks run by a handful of men who are in on the sting. There's absolutely no enforcement of settlement or reg show or market makers or compliance. And when there's big problems, Ken Griffin has a warehouse burnt down, in my judgment, in Chicago. These guys all work together. And it's not many people. It's a handful of people. I don't know. I doubt it's bigger than a professional football team, all in. But they move and cause to move incredible amounts of money. Incredible amounts of money. And it's all stealing. We're fighting that. And then these guys are picking on a CEO. I wouldn't pick on the CEOs. The problem is the CEO cannot lie. They cannot collude. They cannot manipulate their stock price. They can't promote information. They have to follow certain rules in place. White Diamond Research doesn't have to follow anything. And White Diamond Research makes a ton of money. Ton of money manipulating. He's got a whole clientele out there. He's got a whole scheme going on. His real clients are the criminals. And this is the same with Aubrey Advisors, Jeff Easton, the Kramers. Their clients are the real criminals. And so we're up against that. But every now and then a stock runs, gets all the juices flowing. So we're also up against our own emotions. And none of us wants to buy a stock and hold it while other stocks are moving. Hey, did you see GME's up? GME's up. We got to get in GME. Roaring Kitty is coming on. Roaring Kitty. Oh my gosh, Roaring Kitty. Oh my God, he came on with a broken cast. He's amazing. And the stock goes from $65 back down to $29. It's all emotions, and we got to fight that. So it's tough. It's tough. I think right now, let's look at some of these stocks, these dogs and cats that are in our. I think the single best stock to buy right this moment, if you don't own any, is RLAIF. RLAIF. That has a fundamental story, which I've gone over here before, that can kick in and you can see the hockey stick in value creation / value realization. I think that stock can give you 5, 10, 15x, but you might have to wait for it. Do you want to wait? You might not want to wait. But that's not technically a short squeeze. So you're not counting, you're not fighting the criminals. I mean, if I'm reading the fact that it's going from an R&D phase to a product phase, both commercialization of that product and product development. And by the way, AI, artificial intelligence, self-improves. So it's an exciting ramp up. But do your own due diligence. The website's there. You can go through their presentation. You can listen to the CEO. But I think Railtown, of everything out there, gives you the proper mix of catching a stock that admittedly is up from its angel rounds and its sideways movement, but I don't think it's very high up the hockey stick yet. And it's not purely dependent on some sort of short squeeze to go up. In fact, I would argue Railtown AI Technologies is in the sweet spot of awareness and proof of concept and generating revenues, or the projection of revenues, which allows family offices, VC firms, and investment bankers and money managers to look at it. They're all wired for this technology and AI, and who's going to be the next Microsoft, the next Amazon, the next NVIDIA, the next, whatever they call them, unicorns. But who's going to be the next unicorn? Maybe it's Railtown. I think that's a great one, with a mixture of real fundamental reasons why it's going to go up, and by the way, a potential of a short squeeze. There are shorts in Railtown. My second favorite there, I'm going to give two stocks. Well, no, I'm going to go with I don't know, it's so hard. It could be any one of these. Mixing time and potential. I think NIXX Inc., that's NTRP, but it's $7.50. I think NTRP could be on the verge of a very nice move. I also think NIXX, but it's $6. I think NIXX is on a verge of really powerful move. And, these stocks, these four stocks that Ham has introduced us to, GBUX, GBUX, MLSS, ZJYL, GBC, they haven't gone away. And we're in a new year. I wouldn't deign to tell you when, but I don't think the game's over with those. And, maybe it's a little side bet. It's like the roulette table. You put it all on red 32 and you lay some side bets. I don't know. I don't gamble, but I did win on red 32 once as we were walking out of the casino. I took all my chips, I was drinking, and I just put it on 32. And I walked away, and my friend said, "Hey, you won." So I walked out with money. I also think silver, and look at this, Sprott Physical Silver Trust is at $10. It's up 25-30% since I first started talking to you about it. But that's PSLV. You can invest that way, or you can buy silver. But I think this year, silver goes to $90. If it gets to 75, there's going to be, I think, there's going to be a huge final Weimar Republic-like melt up in the U.S. stock market. I'd have to remember where I saw the data for a presentation to you, but something like 49% of the world's financial assets, investable dollars and florin and yen and rubles are in the United States market. the United States market the stock market is in a bubble beyond hubris. We believe that God chose the United States to be the greatest country on the world. And now our military is better than anybody's. Our democracy is better than anybody's. If we bomb brown-skinned people, God wants us to do it. They're terrorists. And we just live in this self-reinforcing crap. We tell ourselves we're the greatest. Now, my opinion is the United States is a great country, and our ideals are superior to any countries in the world. And we still have the bones, the sinew, the brains, the heart to be the best country in the world. But something's gone wrong. Something's gone wrong. But one of the things is we keep telling ourselves, Gary Gensler does, the people that run the stock market and cheat tell you that we have the best markets in the world. We don't anymore. We don't. I can show you, and maybe I can do it if I feel like doing it now. Just when you look at oil prices, how oil is traded. It's traded on the margin, and it's traded with paper contracts. It's all manipulated too in that sense. But basically, you used to look at two prices. You used to look at the Brent price, which was because of the North Sea oil. And then you looked at WTI. But now there's all different manner of prices that are actively not some they were there before, but they're made public. They're part of the information flow. And what I call to your attention is there are going to be oil exchanges which are honest and do not have the paper fraud going on. But this is also true of the gold markets and the silver markets, precious metals, the bond markets. Our markets are fraudulent because a handful of hotshot guys believe they can turn everything into a derivative bet, and they can make paper bets, leveraged paper bets, and get rich. As long as they read charts and they have an algorithm and they have trillions of dollars flooding in. Because they control the government, who starts wars and needs to print money and defends the banks and rescues banks. They rescued Goldman Sachs.
Call from headquarters time. Call from headquarters time. Call from headquarters time.
All right, to 2:15. I won't make it to 4 o'clock, but maybe I can make it a few more minutes. So what does it mean for the U.S. market? I think the U.S. market still has a blow off top. I don't know if I wrote the numbers down. These aren't the same numbers I said before because I don't know where I put the notebook. Let me just see if I have my supposed prediction of how high the markets can go. Well, I don't have it here. I can't find it. Oh, here. Yeah, I'm just approximately, I think the stock market, the indices, I think the S&P will go to 8,000. I think NASDAQ will go to 30,000. I think the Dow will go to 60,000. And I think the Russell index could go to 3,500 and approach 4,000. But that'll be it. It'll be over. And when the rest of the world realizes that we're not wearing any clothes, your life is going to change. My life is going to change. Silver in that run up, I think, is going to $90 or $100. Maybe breaking $100. But then I think that, like Roadrunner running, or that bird running off the cliff, they're going to look down. I think the world's going to realize that the Biden economy and the Harris economy and the Trudeau economy and the Starmer economy and the German economy and all these supply chains which have been disrupted, China's economy, are not humming along. And that we've been running on fake statistics, lies. And I think we're going to have, I think the financial markets are going to recognize that we may already be in a depression. Depression is, we're talking financial, not human painful hibernation from the world. Depression is when the economy is not growing at the rate, the optimum rate it could be, and it's over a period of time. We keep talking that we're in a recession because no one wants to use the word depression, but it's really kind of odd. A lot of Americans aren't working. Home prices keep going up, but who can really afford them? Credit cards are defaulting. Student loans, I think, would default, except Biden bailed all those people out. Real estate is collapsing in parts of the country. Commercial real estate is in a complete free fall. Are banks really solid? I guess. We're told they are. 7 stocks carry the stock word market ever upward. Is that good enough? I guess you'd have to ask Boris. All right, so I guess I went through the stocks that I want to see if there's an article here I can show you. And then there's one I want to read to you. And then I might look at questions. I might quit for the day. I don't know. I'm not recommending this. This is the one that guy came on. The stock's been killed. I'm not recommending it. Who's going to compete with Zoom? All right, let's just look at this. Let me see if you're seeing it. Yeah. Let me change my position. I don't know. That's a lot of advertising, isn't it? So we'll try to cancel that. We'll try to cancel this. All right. Stop seeing this ad. I know one way to stop seeing is stop reading the newspaper. Biden sabotages Trump as he bans all future oil and gas drilling just days before he's sworn in. President Biden has banned all future offshore oil and gas drilling in a last-ditch effort to stop Donald Trump from keeping his promise to expand drilling. It is a blatant move to try and sabotage the incoming administration. In an effort to get ahead of Trump, Biden declared he is using his authority under the 70-year-old Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act to block all future oil and natural gas leasing in most U.S. coastal waters. The action could be difficult for Trump to unwind, since it will likely require an act of Congress to repeal. How's he going to get that done with a 1 or 2 seat majority in the House? So, oh God, I'm sorry about these ads. So the point is, what I'm going to keep emphasizing is oil and gas is the place to be. The assets are on the rocks because everyone's in NVIDIA. But if you believe that underinvestment in oil and gas for the 4 years of the Biden administration is going to lead to lower prices, you don't quite, and it's hard to understand, you don't understand the dynamics of the oil business. When you add that on top of the fact that a lot of that shale drilling was a jolt of, it was a sugar rush, and it wasn't really profitable, and it wasn't sustainable. The only thing that's going to happen to oil prices and natural gas prices from here over a cycle, I'm not talking a week or a month or even 6 months, although I think it could happen in a week, but you don't know. It's very unpredictable. But oil and natural gas worldwide, the prices are going much, much higher, especially in dollar terms. The same applies to gold and silver. I think silver is going to go, like I said, to $90. I think gold can go to 4,000 in this big rush. And if I miss, I'm just trying to be dramatic, as the pouring in of all this liquidity gives a blow off top. And then when we recognize, the world recognize, uh-oh, this is a disaster. The economy doesn't support this. Personally, I think the indexes could go down 95%. In other words, I think we could go back to the low single digits in the Dow. I know that's hard to believe. It doesn't matter if I'm right. It is going to be a bloodbath. And you can still make money in stocks. It's just, it won't be those 6 or those 7. But everything will be sold. It's going to be the unwinding of all this leverage. The guys at the top who are lying to you, stealing your money, marrying the most available woman in the world, they are already taking their money out. They'll survive. But for the rest of us, schlubs, it's going to be tough. But I think silver and gold in that situation, gold could pull back, I think, back to the high 2000s in the initial phase of a just brutal collapse. And I don't know when it starts. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, next year. How long does it last? I would guess 18 months to 24 months. And then there'll be an attempt to make it better. But then it'll settle in for 1 or 2 generations. people are going to stop talking about stocks. It's going to be, I'll probably stop being able to talk about anything, but it's going to be awful. But so I think gold, after its high this year, could pull back to, I don't know, 2,800, 3,200. Yeah, I don't think it'll pull all the way back down. Silver's more volatile. Personally, I don't think silver will come back down below 40 or below maybe 38. Other people out there say it'll come all the way back down. I don't buy that. Silver, once it breaks $50, it's going to race to 100. Anyway, after those pullbacks, I think pick a number. Gold could go to 30 grand an ounce. Gold could go to 40 grand an ounce, depending on who you're following. It could go higher. Silver, I think, will go to 500. Silver could go to 1,000. Silver could go to par with gold. That's my personal prediction. It's not going to happen all overnight like AMC. It's going to take a while, but that's where you're going to want to start moving your assets. You're going to want to start being a central bank, and the central banks to imitate are Russia's, China's. Those are the central banks to imitate. Let me see if I can find the one story that I haven't read this story yet, but I'd like to see if it's any good. All right, let me just make sure you're seeing it. Yeah, you are. Let me take Volkstoy out, not to be rude to Volkstoy, but just because it covers over the story. This is by Zach Scheit. I'm Scheit. I hope I said that correctly and not incorrectly. 2000. This is at Daily Reckoning. Jim Rickards is often here. 2025, the year of $3,000 gold. I think it's going to go much higher than this. Investors are eyeing gold carefully now. The yellow metal has had a great year. It's gone from basically 2,000 to 2,600. Long-term readers will know that I, Zach Scheit, have been bullish on gold for a while. Many investors have been flocking to gold in the last few years, and for good reason. Diversification, inflation hedge, and it's a safe asset. Gold demand has risen. Average price of gold has reached record highs several times this year, surpassing 2,700 in October. Gold prices have been volatile since Trump's inauguration. But now that investors have adjusted, gold appears ready for its next leg higher. This guy has his eye on a price target of 3,000. I think that's very low. And the post-election gold pullback is a good time to look at the miners. I agree. The miners, they're hated. Leading up to the November election, gold had plenty of bullish momentum. Investors had significant concerns about inflation, the economy, and the geopolitical landscape. That fear helped drive capital into gold. However, Trump's victory triggered notable shifts in market sentiment, causing gold prices to retreat. This pullback reflected a broader market pullback as investors reallocated capital toward growth-oriented assets, anticipating potential economic stimulus and deregulation. The initial sell-off, while swift, appears to be temporary. Market participants' immediate reaction prioritized optimism about growth over the economic challenges which continue to support gold's long-term value. After years of above-trend inflation, gold still has a long way to catch up to the broad devaluation of the United States dollar. So even though capital temporarily moved out of gold and into more speculative areas of the market, there remains a robust fundamental case for gold to continue its long trend upward. Recent market activity indicates that gold has found support, with prices stabilizing over the last fortnight. This price support comes alongside a backdrop of persistent inflation. November's core inflation reading of 3.3% up shows that inflation continues to be quote unquote sticky. Of course, interest rate environment plays a crucial role in gold's short-term outlook. Rates initially moved higher based on expectations of a less accommodated Federal Reserve. The fear was that higher growth policies, fiscal policy, coupled with tariffs, maybe disaster, could reignite inflation and require the Fed to tighten. But more recently, long-term interest rates have begun to pull back. We'll talk about rates maybe after I'm done. That's because even though inflation is above the Fed's 2% target, the Fed believes that rates are currently restrictive and that the balance between rates being too high versus too low is tilted towards the rates being high. Rising rates help to boost the value of the dollar versus other currencies. But now that interest rates are done climbing, all right, let's talk about that now. Are they done climbing? My guess is that there is going to be, let me put it this way. If China's bond market is an indication of where we're headed, interest rates are going to go lower. China's 10-year or something like that is around 2%. I can't remember it's their 10-year or 30-year, but it's low. I think we have to be careful, though, of the bond market, because if, as an example, if we press our luck in worldwide war, I see no reason why one hypersonic missile with multiple warheads launched to tell us basically that we're in over our heads. If one hypersonic missile took out an aircraft carrier, a U.S. aircraft carrier, and its supporting ships, or many of its supporting ships, I think the link of the dollar to oil would disappear. I think the belief that the U.S. military could defend U.S. asset prices will disappear, and the bond market will become a bloody nightmare for people long bonds. But is that realistic to happen? I really think it is realistic that that's going to happen. But anyway, in the meantime, maybe as everything else goes up in price, bonds will go up in price, so interest rates will indeed be lower. But is that sustainable in the long run? I don't think so. All right, that's the article. Logic hasn't stopped trading. My last information, I don't know. Let me look before I say that. No, it hasn't stopped trading. Pete the Greek, Aubrey Advisors set up a sting operation with the aid of Shadron Financial, Polar Investments, and the lawyering around it on the DLQ D-SPAC, SPAC and D-SPAC. This was a sting operation that Aubrey Advisors and Shadron built over about 18 months. This all in my opinion, but the evidence is there. Those guys are on the board at Collective Audience. They're not on the board at Logic, but they destroyed everything they saw. I think to take about $150 million off the table. They're trying to protect that now, those profits now. If it goes on long enough, they'll move it offshore. No one will know the better, and they'll buy Ann Wagner dinner the next time they're in town. But Logic, Logic's probably my largest share position, but it's probably not worth very much at all. No, it trades, Pete. Last trade, 0.0077. So I would say that Logic is almost seller boxed, and that's not good. Now the news on Logic over the last months had, by memory, they announced they were going to do 6 to 7 to 8 reverse merger acquisitions that could approach $1 billion, almost $1 billion. The tension was at that time you had 300 million shares authorized. If the powers that be were able to get all 7 of those CEOs to negotiate simultaneously, the 15% that we would keep, I estimated would be worth 40 to 60 cents a share, because you would expand the outstanding shares. You'd give them, I'm making it up, it's not exactly right, but you'd give them 1.7 billion shares, all 7 of those CEOs, whilst we kept our 15%. And at $1 billion, give or take, at 15%, give or take, we would have a stock worth 50 cents, give or take. Well, they announced all of that in the summer. I see no evidence that anything's moved forward. They've announced 2 of those were finalized. One of them, let me find the name of it. One of them was first. And one was second. Okay, so 2 months ago, Logic acquired Evamate. And 5 months, okay, so that's the first one. 5 months ago, Logic finalizes acquisition. It's a reverse split. The minnow's eating the whale or whatever. Not that Logic's a whale. The whale is, they finalized acquisition of MedLab Essentials in $100 million deal. Evamate's a small deal. So my guess is these are both announced as done, but something has happened that they haven't been finalized. My guess is, Pete the Greek, and it's always the risk, these CEOs come in, they agree to the concept, but the stock is 10 cents. The criminals out there behind Aubrey Advisors and Chadron, Polar, and other hedge funds, the day traders, the opportunists, the prime brokers, the market makers, they know that if they can drive that price down, that CEOs are going to look at the deal they struck and say, wait a minute, I'm making it up. I agreed to merge in for 250 million shares at 10 cents. I'm making it up. But now the stock's trading at 0.005. I can't do that deal anymore. That's what the whole problem is. And the lawyers say, wringing their hands to the CEO, you must do this. It's our advice, because the lawyer has nothing to lose. Oh, you've got to do it because the company will go out of business if you don't do it. Remember, CEO's responsibility is to shareholders, not to the lawyers, not to themselves. But the lawyers have convinced CEOs their responsibility is to the company and to themselves, because if they don't take care of that first, then the shareholders have nothing. And nobody suspects the deacon. Everybody blames the priest, but nobody suspects the deacon. Everybody blames the CEO, but nobody suspects the financial advisor, the lawyers, and the hedge funds. But anyway, so it looks to me, and I don't have any factual guidance on this, but it looks to me like these first two companies, MedLab and Evamate, either want to renegotiate their deals, or maybe they backed out, or one of them wants to be the head honcho. It looks to me like the strategy of the shorts is working in Logic. And Pete, the problem becomes two things. To make Logic attractive as a reverse shell. It's not quite a shell because it has at least one other asset. But for all intents and purposes, it trades like a shell. It's got to be current. It's got to be clean in its filings. It's got to be current with the SEC, current with its finances, its financials. What does that involve? Money. That means more shares are going to be issued. And again, Nobody suspects the deacon. This is what Polar wants. This is what Aubrey Advisors wanted from the jump. This is what Chadron wanted from the jump. It means anything good gets diluted, and there's no enforcement. It's all offshore probably by now. So that's my concern. Clearly, they're going to have to raise money to keep their finances. Secondly, they did not negotiate with all 7 companies simultaneously, obviously. Thirdly, the 2 companies that already had agreed deals, one or both may be renegotiating, may be pulling away. Fourthly, one of those 2 might be demanding to be the head, the big guy, the big girl. And that's not good for shareholders. And then the 5th or 6th problem then becomes, if they're going to roll these other companies in, going back to my original example, let's just say one of these companies demands, because the price is down, they want it all renegotiated, and we're in charge, everybody else is out, let's say we get 5%, not 15%, and they issue 2 billion shares to this one company, then you can see the waterfall of additional issuance. Let's pick one of these companies. Let's say it's Evenmate is the driving. The other one is called Meta Lab or something. You can flip a coin, either one of them. I don't have a coin to flip. Let's just say it's Evenmate wins out, and they get it. Well, now Evenmate has a model to buy those other 7 companies. Well, they got to issue, they're just going to waterfall it, and they'll issue 3 billion to bring something in, and then 4 billion, and then 10 billion. And obviously, if you are thinking ahead, what they're really going to do is a reverse split, which bails Chadron, Aubrey, and Polar out of their short positions. There are no systems in place. Nobody cares. It's offshore, and you just have a grand theft financial. I think that's what's ahead. I just have come to that over the last month, because there's a complete absence of any announcement before year end. Now, that's the negatives. Let's go to the positives that are potentially there and a reason to buy the stock. The positives that are potentially there, the CEO knows all this. In his heart, he knows this. Unless he has already signed agreements he can't back out of, and unless he's getting pressure from family and friends and lawyers, if he still has fight in him, he doesn't have to do a reverse split. Hello? I am, but I don't know if I have the speaker. I can look. Why? All right, let me I don't have the speaker. Let me try to get it while you're on. But if not, I'll have to call you right back.
Battery 100%. Connected to
Oh,
Bill's iPhone.
it connected. So you're connected.
All right, so anyway, I put up 3 hours ago, and I put up on Twitter 3 hours ago, DJT, if you bought the dip, you cashed out again. I said, GameStop, the dip is here. That was 3 hours ago. It was down 50 cents. It ran up over $1 something. So buy the dip, sell the rip. worked on both names again today. It gives you a daily payout all the time. All right. And I'm trying to show you or teach you a trading pattern that allows you to do this. They don't last forever, but they can last a week, a month, a year. And you can see GameStop and DJT give you that trade every day. I have people doing it all the time. And again, I'm not pushing it. I'm just trying to show you a certain trade pattern. As a trader, this is how you make money. You don't need to make $1. You can make 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents. You can make 10 cents. You buy 1,000 shares up a dime, you make $100. $100 a day is $500 a week, is $2,000 a month. Pays your rent, pays your mortgage, whatever it may be. All right? You can't make $1 billion on every trade. Not every stock affords you to do that. All right? So again, learn how to be and learn how to play the game. Finger motion does not have buy the dip, sell the rip. It's an accumulation stock right now. I believe it will turn into a wild swing stock soon, but it doesn't afford it now. So don't look for that here because you can't get it here. It's not moving. Once the engine starts, then we can report on it. I can't do it till then. I think that GBUX is going to be that tradable stock now. It's spiked up to 233. The shorts are holding it down here. I think the next spike will be higher, then down, then higher, then down. These wild swings, learn to take advantage of them. That's all you need to do. If taking advantage of it means that if you bought 500 shares and you sell 200 up $1 and it pulls back and you can buy it back again, that's how you trade. That's how you learn how to trade. Not every stock has this pattern. This is a certain pattern that I'm trying to teach you about. And that's why I called back in, because I just saw GameStop take off.
It's great.
It's a trading pattern. It's just something that you can see yourself. It's right there. Just look at DJT. Every time they smash it down, the shorts, it turns around and comes back stronger. It's done it. I can't even tell you how many times it's done it. And every once in a while, if you really want to stay with it, you take your profit and you buy some cheap calls and you're always invested. You're there. Do you understand that? I hope everybody does.
I do.
You know, people say, oh, if I sell it and it goes. Well, if you sell it and it goes and you made money, that's life. That's life in the big city. But that does happen. But if you feel that it's still got legs, but you want to take off, let's say you bought 1,000 shares at DJT at 35, you're putting up $35,000. You know what? You sell the stock, you make $1, you make $1,000, buy the calls, and you have your $35,000 in your pocket, and you use your profit to buy options, and you're still there in case it ever goes to the moon. And that's how you learn how to trade. And the more you can get for free, the better you'll be. Trading and owning things for free, meaning that not free, that's the profits you made, and enables you to stay longer in the stock. And you say, why would I do that? Well, if you did that in GameStop when it first started, instead of buying it at $4 and selling it at 12, you would have got 300 or 200, which made you make more money. That's the reason that you sometimes have to stay with something, because you don't know what's going to go. You don't have to have a zillion shares. No one ever has a full position when they go. Just be happy that you have something. And that's the way you have to play the game. But study the trading patterns. They are very important, and they're very easy to see. I'm not looking at a chart. The numbers don't mean anything to me. It's the trading pattern. You know, I look at DJT, it's up $1.64. It's been standing here all day at this price. Why did they decide to buy it back today? Because Trump was verified? Is that it? I don't know. Why would anybody still be short this stock? It doesn't make any sense to me. But then GameStop just took off. It's up 90-something cents now. It hit a high of 33, 39. It had a big spike and pulled back. These are things that you can see. So if you're buying the dips, when they don't want them, you buy them. When they do want them, you sell it. Very easy. That's trading. If you have a story on a stock that you love and you don't want to sell, that's a different story. Then you do what you have to do. But if you're involved in trading names, okay, then you need to take the profits. When the ducks quack, you feed them. That's what it is. So whenever you see a stock and you say you paid $20 for the stock and it's 22 bid, and you stand up and yell to your wife, "This stock looks great." Look at your hand, right in your other hand, and say, whenever I say those words, that means I should sell some. That's what I always did. Whenever I thought my stock was acting great, I always made a sale. If I had 1,000 shares, maybe I sell 300 or 400 shares. And the opposite is when I go there and say, "Oh my God, my stock looks awful." That's when you should be buying it. If it's a company that you're following. I don't know I can't tell you depending on what company it is. But if you do that and buy them when they don't want them and sell them when they do, you'll be okay. Right? Just a stupid little pattern that you have to study. And that just comes from memorizing the numbers. All right, William, I just wanted to get that off my chest.
You did a good job.
All right, everyone, have a good day.
Thank you.
Call ended.
Okay. I thought he just called back. It popped up that he was calling back. All right. So Pete, on the positive potential for logic is, I think the CEO knows all this. It's possible one of those companies who is taking control, if they are, wants to fight it and knows best. So it's possible things will be okay. But I think the criminals are going to win here because time has destroyed our advantage. Now, I have put my phone calls in to offer help, and I think there's a way out, but it may be too late. And my guess is whatever, it's purely a guess, but whatever these two companies are, there may be a third company. One of them could just be a front working on behalf of Aubrey Advisors clients or extended clients. This $1 trillion theft of trillions is well organized, pretty well thought out in advance. The wheels are greased, and they'll blame the CEO. And they'll say that the investors should never buy in the over-the-counter markets. They need to just buy NVIDIA through their broker or their wealth advisor. It's a dastardly scheme, but we'll see, Pete. I'm not giving up, but I have to say right at this moment, and that's a big change for me, I'm not optimistic. I have to tell you the way I see it. They sold it off. Now, if I had money, which I do not at this moment have, I would be buying it, but I would be thinking to myself, I could lose everything I'm buying right now. But if there is a plan, and if in fact the CEO knows this is going on, which I think he does, and I think he works hard, and I think he's honest, and I think he wants to fight it, it might be a brilliant time. But the market's telling you that the criminals are fearless. They've created a lot of stock that doesn't exist, and now all they need to do is have the company absorb all that fake shares. So they do a reverse merger, and Polar and Aubrey Advisors and Chadron can walk away with their portion of $150 million, $200 million, $300 million. That's unfortunately, and it gives me no comfort to say, because that easily, by far, is my largest position. So Trying to think what else. Oh, I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you. Yeah, I can do that in a second. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think there's any momentum against stopping any of this, unless Ham's correct that somehow Trump recognizes it and wants to change it. But I don't think so. But I want to show a chart. I just want to show a chart, if I can, on Rail. It's not usually the service I use, but the service I use. Well, I'll show you. I'll show you. The one I like to use is this one. Because it is algorithmic. But what they did, they printed one trade. See this one trade? They printed all the way down at a penny. And it screws up the chart. Let me make sure you're seeing it. Yeah, you are. It screws up the chart. It makes, well, I mean, you can see a little bit here. I mean, we can look at that. But it really screws it up. But you can see, really going back quite a while, that there's a resistance here that Railtown's about to break through, in my judgment. And when it does, with all this volume down here behind it, I think it's going much higher. But let's look at a different chart just to get a different vision of it. Okay, see that trade's in there. You can see it there. But let's get a 9-month chart. I don't know how to annotate it. And let me make sure you're seeing it. No, you're not. I want to show you. I want to show you the full screen. Yeah, that one. Yeah. All right, let's see if you're seeing this one. Let me take Richard's comment off so I drop lower. All right, let's just look at this. I don't know how to write here. But anyway, this bar that the one thing I can move without knowing what I'm doing, I'll pick that level right there. That's 40 cents. If Railtown breaks out, and I think it is, look how once, twice, 3 times a lady. And I love you. I love you. When we are together, the moments I cherish with every beat of my heart. So maybe even here it breaks out 39 cents. But just to be safe, I'm going to use that top right there. 41 cents. If this breaks out at 4, or even here, that'd be 42 cents. Something in that range. And if it broke out of this level, 45 cents, or this level, 48 cents, I think it goes much, much higher. So you've got 1, 2, 3 tries, and the fourth is magic, or you ignore those 2 and you count it 1, 2 tries, and maybe it pulls back and we get a third. That's possible. But to me, this thing, the other thing, this could be a cup, and this is the handle, and we're about to break out. But that's what I see in Railtown. I think we're about to break out. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to play GME, go ahead, but they have that under control. All offshore drilling is banned. You think Biden gave it that much thought? I don't think so. Can you? Okay, let's go back to this. Let me see if I can. I just want to look something up before I waste your time with it. All right, let's do it. Let's do it together. They did file the document. This is the securities purchase agreement dated December 20 between Finger Motion and each purchaser identified on the signature page here too. On the closing date, the company agrees to sell $5 million of shares and warrants The beneficial ownership limitation is 4.99%. They can receive pre-funded warrants at the discretion of the investor. didn't read this before, so I'm trying to scan it quickly. Warrant shares can be done via cashless exercise. Use of proceeds. The company shall use the net proceeds for working capital purposes and shall not use the proceeds for the satisfaction of any portion of debt or for the redemption of common stock or for the settlement of any litigation or in violation of these regulations. Oh, this is a pretty good thing. From the date hereof until 6 months. And this shows you that lawyers and bankers know the criminal activity goes on. Just look at this. 411B. From the date hereof for 6 months after the closing date, the company is prohibited from entering into an agreement to issue any of its stock or equivalents involving a variable rate transaction. A variable rate transaction means a transaction in which the company issues or sells any debt or equity which is convertible into, exchangeable, or exercisable for, or include the right to receive additional shares either at a conversion price, exercise price, or exchange rate, or other price, which is based upon and or varies with the trading prices or quotations of the common stock. They know it goes on. Or B, with a conversion, exercise, or exchange subject to being reset at some future date. They know the toxic financing goes on. Good news, they can't do it for 6 months. That's good news. That is very good news. And this is these, I bet these guys can participate in future financings. So they can do an at the market offering. That's not so good. But whatever. Everybody does it. They waiver of a jury trial. Waiver a jury trial. That means the criminals just have to buy off a judge. And they don't give you the names of the shareholders. My guess is that it could be criminal. Could be the okay. Let me show you this. Okay, so Roth gets 7% of the gross proceeds. and they get warrants, and they get their expenses of $110,000. They get warrants with an exercise price of $1.88, placement warrants. The net proceeds, I thought I was right, 4.4 million. All right, so that's that deal. Okay. This is the No Labs deal. So KNW entered into a funding with the crooks at the Lynn Partners, who are not institutional. They are not fund managers. They're simply pass-through cowboys to 4 hedge funds, apparently, who short the stocks. Any CEO out there that does business with Lynn Partners, New York City, you deserve what you get. Unfortunately, your shareholders do not. Anyway, so they agreed to an investment of up to 12 million, but they received 4 million at the close. And this guy, Philip Vallier, managing director at Lynn Partners, and in fairness, my guess is he's not Jewish. He might be, but just to correct myself, I guess some guys aren't Jewish. Lynn is excited about its investment in No Labs. He always says this. We are pleased to invest. It's all bullshit. All right, so read this. So they've agreed 14.4. The initial closing is 4. Net proceeds of 3.68. Pursuant to a convertible note with a face value of 4.4 million. They get 3.7 million off of 4.4. The face value of the convertible note will have 24 maturity date and can be paid at the company's option in cash. They don't have any cash, or through the issuance of shares of the common stock equal to the principal amount divided by 90% of the average of the 3 lowest value weighted average price during the 20 days prior to the applicable payment date. The convertible note may be converted into shares under certain circumstances at a fixed price of $1. Bullshit. That's just in there to confuse you. The key thing here is that the company who has no money is going to be forced, if they, and the lawyers will tell them, oh, you've got to do it. You got to do it. They're going to be forced to issue stock to not be in default. And guess what Lynn Partners does? Their 4 clients, they just obliterate it. They sell the stock. And it's then the last, at the time when they are going to close, they really pressure it down. 90% of the lowest 3 daily VWAPs. So they get, not only do they get the profit shorting it down, they get a 10% discount. And Lynn gets a warrant, which covers some of their shorting. The 80 cents is just to confuse you that, hey, this looks like a good deal. It's not a good deal. And then after 100 days, the company has to pay 1/20th each month. Guess what? They can be made in cash or shares, exactly where the short wants. They drive it down. The company issues more shares at a lower price. It's a self-fulfilling positive feedback loop. That's the difference. That's the difference. I'm not going to go look at the SEC filing. I'm not that interested. But what Lynn Partners does is gets the company to put shares in the transfer agent. They sign this deal. The company is now a slave to Jeff Easton. To avoid default, the company has to issue more shares. What does Jeff Easton do and their clients? We can sell stock without settlement that we don't own because we know the company is going to have to issue shares at a lower price. And we'll just buy it back then, or we'll never buy it back. We can drive the company into bankruptcy. We can drive the company into being seller box. And we know Gary Gensler doesn't care. Adina Friedman doesn't care. Robert Cook doesn't care. Ann Wagner doesn't care. The entire U.S. Congress doesn't care. Lawyers don't care. As long as lawyers get their lucre, they don't care. The exchanges don't care. The prime brokers don't care. Retail broker dealers do not care. Everybody's in on it. That's the difference. I don't think Finger did a toxic deal here. It might have been a price you didn't want to see, and I didn't want to see. So rail is at 0.3923. It hasn't quite broken out. Finger is up. It's at 124. NIXX is putting her skirt back on for the time being. That's a bad analogy, but it's down a little bit, which I think is the pause for the cause. You need it. MLSS is up a bit at 102. GBUX is up a bit at 182. DJT at 36, and rail is trading at 39.23, up 3%. Not bad. See if I'm right in terms of it breaking out. This next trip is up 17 cents. It's $7.50. I'm hearing good things there. I've got to, anyway, I got more work to do on that. And well, Kyle, if you're a real person, and I'll assume that you are, since I was wrong with that leprechaun image, that dancing green and white image. I've lost a lot of money, and I really bought into the ideas of what was going to happen. And, you can say it's a manipulated market, which I think it is. You can say the criminals always win because all they have to do is just keep selling, and I think that's true. You can blame it on the CEOs, and to the extent that CEOs continue to take toxic financing, I think the CEOs deserve it, but no one's ever going to blame the CEOs legally, and the lawyers won't hold them accountable. You can blame it on the lawyers, but lawyers' asses are so covered, and they get paid whatever they do. It's almost criminal in and of itself. All they have to do is find a precedent, and So, yeah, you can blame the CEOs in some situations. Certainly, the regulators are to blame, and Congress is to blame. But at the core, I think I'm to blame in that there were chances to make a profit. And I know one guy who bought GTII, he's a weazened trader, and he paid, I think, 40 cents or something, maybe 70 cents, 80 cents. And it ran to 220 in about a month. He sold everything. And I said, wow, you did? It's $4 now. And it's going to squeeze according to to people. And they said, I'm happy. I tripled my money, or more than tripled my money, and I'll just take it and move on. And that was great. And so, to me, I look back on what I could have done is I could have sold. And actually, I think there was a bit of buy the dip, sell the rip in that stock too, and others, and I didn't. So I think ultimately we have to try to learn to operate in the market, if we choose to, that we have, rather than the way it should be, or there should be integrity or honesty. There isn't. So every time you get in a stock that runs a little bit, I think the real lesson is you've got to take your money, your original money. Let's use an example, rail. It's 39 cents. Let me see where the last trade is. 38.91. Let's say you bought 10,000 shares at 30 cents. You spent $3,000. It's now worth 3,800. To me, that's not quite high enough to take your money off. But if you have 10,000 shares maybe if that stock went to 60 cents, you sell a third of your position and you take your original money off the table. Then you can never lose money. Then you can't lose money, and the rest of the money's for free, Kyle. And that's something I think we have to start incorporating in trading. I've told you, I think your money is completely forfeit in GTII. Now, there may be a new iteration that we'll find out about in GTII that there may be a way getting the money back, maybe, but it's going to have to be a miracle situation. You're going to have lawyers and receivers and judges taking their haircut. You're going to have other things being paid off, deals struck. I have no idea what, but in fairness, I don't know how receivership works versus bankruptcy court, but I'm assuming it's similar. But in bankruptcy court, there's deals all over the place to get everybody's signature. And we don't know what those are, but it'll cut into what's available to common stockholders. Bankruptcy court, remember, I'm not saying receivership. Bankruptcy court is for creditors, not for shareholders. No one cares about the shareholders. So anyway, let's see what the deal is in GTII. But my guess is what's going to happen is we'll own very little of the new coal, and they may offer to us a chance to invest in the new coal to try to participate in some story they have, which might be great. It might be great. I mean, but it'll be new, is my point. It'll be a new investment decision. It won't be the same. It'll have the same name, but it's a new decision. So the investment in GTII is, in my opinion, a crap out. The criminals won. Unfortunately, unless I'm missing something, and I may well be, it looks like the criminals are going to try to impose that same kind of event on Logic. It's going to take courage from the CEO, thinking out of the box, and not listening to the lawyers, the board, and the financial types. But that's hard pressure. It's really hard pressure. Very hard. And I don't say that. That's a complete, that's a very painful thing for me to say. So I lost Kyle. And I don't even know if you're a real person, but I got really heavily hit with the man of no judgment, best friends, it looks like, with Jeff Easton, Jeremy Frommer. That was a massive wipeout. And I'm not blaming Kyle. Ham, even though I called Ham on the Friday and I said, this stock is trading at $1.50, 149, 152. And it doesn't seem like this deal is going to go through, the $3 deal. Oh no, it's going through. It's going through. I just spoke with Jeremy and I just spoke with so-and-so and I just spoke with so. That deal is going through. So I didn't listen to my own instincts and as you know, Jeremy Frommer decided to renegotiate. Instead of taking $3, he asked for $5. So he blamed GTII, he would have been the CEO. And the whales would have funded him. But that wasn't good enough for him. So he asked for $5. The whole thing collapsed. And whatever went on. And that was do I blame Ham for that? He told me what he was hearing. I blame myself for being a complete idiot and not trusting my own instincts. GTII, Kyle, if you've been here, and I've never seen your name before, and I've seen it recently because it reminds me of the father of John Connor. But I didn't see you all along. And I've learned since I've got to be explicit. Nobody can read between the lines. But I've been warning about GTII from 2 Augusts ago. From 2 Augusts ago. The story's not written yet. So if you, I have no idea if you still own Finger. I think Finger can be a situation where you get your money back and maybe make a nice return. But you gotta, and if you don't want to trade, you don't want to trade. Some trades work. This guy from the American Stock Exchange was absolutely convinced that Logic and the DLQ spinoff as a SPAC was going to be a $20, $25 stock because there's systems in place and the deal's a good deal. You don't know what you're talking about and all that. Well, he was wrong. Do I blame him? I can't blame him. He's just a guy that believes that the Amex is still the way it used to be. It's not. There are no systems on Wall Street that work. And I think, Kyle, you're part of the other side. But anyway, on the chance that you're just like toe cramp, I'll assume that you're a real person. So this is meant to say to you, Kyle, I know the pain of losing trades. And if you think that Ham's suggestion to tell you to buy the dip and sell the rip somehow is offensive to you and somehow doesn't help you, and somehow is an insult to the losses you've either achieved, taken, or are on paper, well, I think you're misreading him. I don't have the money, but I've watched him trade with one gentleman, DJT, from $11 all the way up here. Buy the dip, sell the rip. Buy the dip, sell the rip. Buy the dip, sell the rip. And to my understanding, that guy started with a small chunk, but he's made back his losses or a big piece of his losses. So Ham's giving you a tool, if you find a stock that trades that way, to make back some of your losses. But if you're here just to bitch and moan about losses, I can bitch and moan with you about my own losses. I don't find it productive. Who is going to give me those losses back? Ham? The regulators? Nobody's going to give me that back. So what do I think is more important is to learn Kyle, and maybe you don't learn and you don't take your own responsibility, maybe. But then I would suggest to you, the stock market's not a place to be. You might be somebody who plays online poker. Well, if you keep making the same boneheaded mistakes that you made when you first started, you're not learning. How do those people get to the World Series of Poker? Because they learn. They play thousands, tens of thousands of hands. They know the odds. They know the strategies. That's the market. And I think Ham is teaching ways to make money back. Now, in my case, Kyle, one of the ideas I had was that the logic trade with data logic made sense. All right, I'll listen to this guy. He seems to know systems are in place, that these bankers are not going to do anything to hurt the company. You know, it turns out his judgment, the Amex guy's judgment, if going by your assessment of Ham, is the Amex guy's judgment is just as bad as Ham's. He just doesn't want to see it. The commonality is maybe anybody that believes that there's systems in place or that the stock market trades like it used to in the small stock arena, or that compliance enforces the rules, are sadly mistaken. There is a cabal of men and this Philip Vallier may be from Toronto. He may be linked to the Ensom funds, who have taken over the very trading systems of the market. Things that are in place for the big stocks, they have down in the small stocks, and Ann Wagner doesn't care. And if you want to try to get outsized returns with no risk, buy Viagra and use a condom. All right. I don't agree with you. People still are playing that every time Roaring Kitty comes out. All right, there's not a lot of questions, so I guess I can sign off. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, sorry. Let me amend what I'm saying. You're saying if it trades legitimately, all right. That's fine. But it doesn't trade right now. It's on this expert market. If you get it at 3 cents on the expert market, that means the bid is probably 0.000003. So it's a mug's game. It's a real mug's game. But what you're saying is if it legitimately starts trading outside of the expert market, I see what you're saying. I would rather go out right now and buy Logic on the chance that there is going to be a strategy that pulls it out of the ditch. My concern with Logic is that whatever may or may not have been signed with one or two of these acquiring companies may be a pass-through to the criminals. It wouldn't be hard to take some little medical company, go in, reverse merger it, take over, then do a reverse split, and then bail Aubrey advisors out. As you know, everything's my opinion on my show. It's also not financial advice. Why don't we just sit here? I guess no one's really watching, but we'll watch it till the market closes. Trying to think where there might be an interesting. Wow, that's amazing. So she married. Didn't know that. All right. Nunya, why are you in the hospital? I hope you're all right. I have to go in next week for my eye. All right, so gold is down today. Silver's $30. I guess just wait till it goes up to buy it. WTI oil is down 50, it's 73.40. Brent is 76. Wow. Murban crude, I guess that's Middle East, is 76. They're shifting over there. Natural gas has doubled, but I guess winter, it's up, it's 370. Wow. Pretty good. There's an OPEC basket. Yeah. I don't want to put this article up. 4 assets, Wall Street says 4 assets to avoid in 2025. This is from Citi AM. Tesla, the German stock market, crude oil prices, crude oil. That's 3. All right, so Tesla, German stocks, crude oil, and Intel. While Intel was once considered a leader in the semiconductor industry, it's now outclassed by NVIDIA, AMD, and TSMC. Listen to this sentence. It's all weasel words. If Intel continues to struggle with growth, Intel could once again disappoint investors. All right. Well, that's fine. I don't know I don't deal with Robinhood. I don't know anything about it. Saudi Arabia hikes oil prices to Asia as supply tightens. European natural gas prices surge to 1-year high on tightening supplies. All right, I assume nobody's watching, but I want to We got 8 minutes. I want to see how Railtown closes. The bid is 38.31. The ask is 39.5. Let's see how some of these other stocks are doing. DJT remains up $1.69. GBUX is $1.99. MLSS is 101. NIXX is 589. Finger is 124. And next trip, NTRP, is 744. All right, so I guess it's going to be the Railtown watch for 7 minutes. ZJYL is 83 cents. Railtown hit 40 Friday. I think, oh no, it didn't. I was going to say, I thought it opened at 40 today. It didn't. Maybe that was the previous close. No? I could have sworn I saw 40. Anyway, it hasn't hit 40 today. Today's range is 35.45 to 39.46. Last trade 0.3891 on 412,938 shares. Oh my gosh. Is the USS Harry Truman an aircraft carrier? During a Monday evening press conference, Houthi military spokesman Yahya Saree claimed that Yemeni armed forces targeted the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier with missiles and drones in the Red Sea area. Oh my gosh, we are going to war. I don't think we're going to make it to the Trump administration. Targeting the aircraft carrier using 2 winged missiles and 4 drones, while the American enemy was preparing to launch a major attack against our country. Oh gosh. I hope our sailors are safe. 0.3831 to 0.395, 0.3891, 4 minutes to go. I wish it would dip one last time into the low 30s. Well, put your orders out, Ricky. Put an order out, pick a number, because if it dips, I don't think it'll be very long lasting, but it could happen. You could get a sell-off. Somebody just dumps a bunch of stock or it, whatever. But I would, if you really want to try, put it in below. I don't see that though. I think the stock, I could be wrong, but that sort of cup and handle, the volume, it looks like the 3rd or 4th attempt to get through 40 cents. So I think the momentum is in the favor of it. And just the fundamental story, the company's going from being a R&D company to a company with a first mover, excellent product that's apparently revolutionizing their little part of the world. So, yeah, I'm worried about that. I think they're trying to get us locked in to foreign policies that if the other side bites, Trump can't get us out of. And I think this is all that girl Samantha with the red hair and freckles, Samantha. I shouldn't say girl. That person, Samantha, Obama's person. I think it's she, and I think it's Blinken. I think those are the two destroying the United States. Samantha Powers. Thank you, Benjamin. All right, 2 minutes. Let's see. You can tell that I want to test my theory, 0.3831 to 0.3949. Let's see how anything else is trading. NIXX is still down. Finger is still up a little bit. Next trip is up 12 cents. And for Jack, we'll see what ZJYL is doing. $0.90, 0.90 to 0.90. The bid is higher than the ask. The bid is 0.902 versus 0.9021. That, my friends, looks like a stock that some shorts are stuck in. I wouldn't rest on it. I'm not. That's not an investment. That's like making a small side bet. But that's a very interesting bid ask, and it might portend something. Now the bid is under the ask. They're so tight. ZJYL looks like it's well, the shorts aren't having much luck driving that one down. One minute to go. Rail is trading at 0.3891. Not very exciting. What's your X account? I'll tag you in it. I don't know. It's my name. I haven't used it in a while. I get enough negative waves here that I don't need to get it on there. And I don't find I have enough time to go. I don't know. Maybe this year I'll spend more time on X. I think it's my name, and instead of a D, it's a letter 1. That's what I think it is. It's got a picture of my dog. Best dog in the world. All right, it closed. Extended hours, it's 0.366 to 0.395. Last trade 0.39. I guess it's not going through 40 today. You know, if you look at these stocks as if they are, if that's a $39 stock, to see this move from $28 to $39, it's a good move. It's had pullbacks, but if it breaks 40, it doesn't go to 41 or 43. It breaks, you know, because of the 3 or the cup and handle. It breaks out with force, and I would guess it goes to $60 to use that analogy, and then maybe 70, 75 becomes the target. And you just know it wants to go to 100. It just depends how long does it take. Yeah, I think you can, but I've got to follow up on that once I hang up. So I'll let you know, Ricky. I'll let you know. All right, let's see where everything closed. I think these are correct. ZJYL 92 cents, so it picked up. DJT 36.17. It says here Logic closed at a penny. I assume that's below a penny, but that's pretty good, I guess. GBUX 199. Are you out of your mind? MLSS 192. NIXX 596. Finger 123. Sprott Physical Gold Silver Trust $10. And that's what I have on my list. At 0.03, so it is trading. What's the bid? When you bought it at 0.03, what's the bid? That's, to me, that's the thing. If the bid's 0.025 to 0.03, okay. But if the bid is 0.0003 to 0.03, I'm not saying it's a bad, what your decision is yours. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but it means that when you buy it, you can't sell it without taking a huge loss. But Justin, your strategy may be, let's go through and see what the receiver accomplishes by March 31. And once the audit's filed and once they recover reportedly 200 million shares, I heard that here. And, there's a plan, Stan. Maybe this is going to look really cheap. And so in that context, you may be onto something very savvy. So anyway, I'm gonna sign out. Slow today, but thank you for watching. I'm gonna gradually stop responding to the negativo, because if you're coming here just to open your spleen, look, we've all got losses, we've all got pains. That's not my goal, to sit here and just share anger. I've absorbed quite a bit of it the last few months, and maybe that's what I got to do going on. But I don't see how that makes money. I'd rather try to see, like, let's say rail. You have a small position. Let's say it goes up 5x, 10x. And you've already taken your original money out. What's left, you can start, you start feeling better. That's all. And you can do other things. There's Chris, NTRP. That's the one I just told you. Next trip closed, I think, that's NTRP. I thought I just quoted it. Maybe I didn't. So let's look at it. I quoted it earlier. All right, so it closed actually up at 757, up 15 cents. That's next strip, NTRP. Chris says NTRP goes within the next 2 weeks. How high? Wow, next strip has the lowest float of any stock on the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ has a CEO with the lowest float of any CEO in the country. Wow, that's pretty exciting. So if something happens, it's not going to be small. That's very interesting. 757. There's 1.4 million shares outstanding. That's pretty low. The market cap is $10 million. That's pretty small. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. All right. Well, thank you, Chris, very much for something positive. That's something to look at and maybe put a few pounds, florin, lira, dollars in. Who knows? That'd be a nice trade. All right, I'm going to sign out because I don't know if I can walk my dog in the snow, but I got some phone calls to make. Oh, here's the float for NTRP. 800,000 shares. Wow. I wonder what the short position is, if there is one. That's not much of a float. 800,000 shares. That's less than 1 million. That's pretty amazing. It wouldn't take much to make that go up. Wow. If there's anything short, I don't have any quid, but that would make, even if you put $1,000 in it, that might make a fun trade, All right, I'm going to sign off. I wish everyone a happy night, and I pray for peace in the world. And I'm grateful for all the donations to Lucky. I'm going to make sure I make the right decision about his life. All right. Cheers, everyone. Over and out.